footballs like Bobby Bowden.
As usual, you're exactly right, Michelle. Let's put Bobby Bowden in some historical perspective. You're a football coach. You coached 32 years. You win 10 games every single year. You still haven't won as many as Bobby Bowden. So how do you win 321 games? Here's how you do it, and I quote, "We have not looked like a football team, but it will happen." Maybe it'll happen today. Maybe in the bowl. If not in the bowl, definitely, I guarantee, in the spring. Bobby Bowden's will is undeterred, Dave Barnett. He's ready to go.
And so are the quarterbacks. A good matchup between George Godsey, the most prolific passer in the ACC this year, and the league's Rookie of the Year, Chris Ricks. Kickoff coming up.
Who's got the closest shave? He does, even on the tough spots. The new Remington TCT, the only shaver that first trims the hard-to-get hairs, then follows with 3 flexing foils to cut even closer. The new Remington TCT, total closeness or your money back.
You saw it on the runway, now see it in the store. The Victoria's Secret 2001 Holiday Collection, in stores now, only at Victoria's Secret.
It's different down here. Madden NFL 2002 EA Sports. It's in the game. Rated E for everyone.
One of the top traditions in college football, brought here by Bobby Bowden. Quarter century ago, Chief Osceola declaring the field open for play at Doak Campbell Stadium. And 2.5 months after schedule, Georgia Tech and Florida State are finally ready for their 18th meeting. 9-0 Seminoles since they joined the ACC in '92. They're the only team with a winning record in the conference against Georgia Tech. The last two, however, have been close. 5- and 6-point victories for the Noles, who have won the opening toss. And Javier Bethia is ready to tee it up and kick it to either Kelly Campbell on the left or Joe Burns on the right. Mid-70s, hardly a cloud in the sky. Typical December Florida afternoon. We're glad you're with us to see who can close a disappointing regular season on a winning note heading into the postseason. Befia's kick high, somewhat short, down to the 5 to Campbell. And the outgoing Georgia Tech senior, all-time leading receiver, returns it 26 yards. And from there, another fellow senior in his final regular season game, George Godsey, out of Tampa, Jesuit High School. A Georgia Tech record this year, 224 completions. Second all-time. He's hit 65% for over 2,800 yards. And with him in the backfield, Joe Burns, second in the ACC, over 1,100 yards. Jackson, the fullback, with Smith joining Campbell at the wideout. And another senior, Russell McVay, the tight end. Right to the air on first down, Godsey, and he overshoots Will Glover, who opened in a 3-receiver set at a Georgia Tech wideout. The offensive Georgia Tech front. Dorsey is 18, a true freshman, and he's first team All-ACC. Joining him, Robinson, Schmidgall, Riley, and Kimball.
Tough guys up front for Florida State as usual, led by Darnell Dockett, a player with a little controversy, but having had a good season for his team.
Second and 10, again, Godsey, short drop. And the throw over the middle complete for about 8 yards is Jonathan Smith. And the linebacking core looking this way for Florida State today. Hope Hudson and Bo Ware. Older brother Peter, one of the legendary names among Seminole defenders. Maybe the strength of the defense, the linebackers, the secondary led by senior Chris Hope. First team All-ACC and the active interception leader in the conference, 8 in his career. Stopped on 3rd and short. Darn Darnell Dockett all over Burns.
This is what happens when you don't get the ball up and get your feet under yourself. Schmidgall, the center for Tech, is taken on by Dockett and absolutely stuffed in the backfield. No chance for the first down. Great play by the defensive tackle, Darnell Dockett.
18th tackle for loss this year for Dockett.
18th TFL.
Sean Gregory is on that carry, drop for a loss of 2. Dominic Robinson watches this punt bounce by Van Dyke, and then nowhere to go at the 20. 46-yard punt. Florida State, still a prolific offense, second to the ACC, and the league's rookie of the year, as we said. He's also the league's leading passer as a redshirt freshman. Chris Ricks, out of Margarita, California. Florida State's most prolific freshman quarterback ever. Nick Maddox, Chad Mater in the backfield with Walker, Bell, and Donaldson. Florida State expected to have a different receiving corps than they have had. They've been without Anquan Bolden and Robert Morgan all year, both missing the entire season with knee injuries. It's been a major factor. Not as many playmakers as usual on the field. Ricks is one of them, though, and they are very wary of his ability to run on the Georgia Tech side, and a pickup to the 27 ended by the strong safety Corey Collins. And a look at the Seminole offensive line.
Tight guard, Montre Holland, number 61. I referred to him as being on an island. His teammate Alonzo Jackson said, man, he's the continent. He is all man.
And that D-line, Greg Gathers, look for him leading the ACC with 10 sacks at end and passing situations. You'll see him at D tackle a little bit as well.
Ricks keeping for 7. Out of the gun on 2nd and 3. And bouncing off the first hit is Maddox, searching in vain for any room back toward the middle. It'll be 3rd and short for the Noles. The Georgia Tech linebackers, their coaches think Smith may be their best overall defender, just a sophomore, bothered by injuries much of the year. Fox and Wimbush on either side. And the secondary, led by Myers, second team All-ACC for the second time at free safety. Junior, he's back next year. 3rd and 1, Florida State. And plunging across the 30 for the first down is William McCray, senior fullback out of Jacksonville.
One thing we want to be looking for here from Florida State, it was very clear from meeting with their coaches and players that they intend to run right at Georgia Tech with Mr. Inside Greg Jones and Mr. Outside Nick Maddox. Jones with great power, 243 pounds. Maddox is the speedster. He'll be trying to get outside more often.
And just across the 30, out of the eye, and Ricks on a play fake, look deep, pulls it down, runs again, all kinds of room, and for a quarterback, breathtaking speed. To the Georgia Tech 43, a gain of 26 yards.
There's a guy that has 4.46 speed in the 40-yard dash, and understand Charlie Ward had 339 yards rushing when he won the Heisman in 1993. Ricks had 329 coming into this game. He's already passed Charlie Ward in his amount of rushing for one season. Very fast. They've got to be lane conscious when they rush. Must be disciplined and keep him in the pocket.
He passed Ward. He's their 3rd leading rusher on the year. Most of the time when the defense is not looking for it. First carry of the day, Greg Jones for not much. Let's check in on a close Vandy Ole Miss contest. Brian Kenny.
Dave, yeah, Vandy seemingly had this in hand. Looked like they're going to get their first SEC win of the year, but Eli Manning, a sensational second half. Look at that, threads it to Jason Armstead, 31-27. About 2 minutes to go in that game, Dave.
First half, Eli looked like recent Peyton.
Check out those Mannings out, boy. They can bring him back, huh?
He's just tough. He's a good player.
Jones carried for just 1. Again, out of the eye, play action. Ricks gunning it over the middle and incomplete off the hands of freshman P.K. Sam. One of a number of promising young Florida State receivers. They never totally run out of them, but they don't have as many who can take a short pass and take it 50, 60 yards this year.
Man, you said it so well. P.K. Sam runs a nice, precise route.
maybe just a little bit fading away from the quarterback. You want us to run that more diagonally across the field, but mainly you want to look at the tip of the ball and catch it. And they need their young receivers to mature in the little details like catching the ball.
So they spread with 4 wides on 3rd and 9. And Georgia Tech showing blitz, which is picked up. Ricks overthrown, intended for Maddox.
That's a bad throw there by Ricks. Bad decision, go. But Dave, I want to go back to what you said, because in a situation like it's been with Florida State in the past, you always say 4th or 3rd down and 8 or 7. Why do you run the shorter routes? But Florida State did that when they had the Peter Warricks, when they had the Snoop Minnis. They could run the 3-yard slants because those guys would turn it into a lot of yards. And Dave, you hit the nail on the head. They just don't have the player that can do that right now, but they certainly will in the near future.
It'll be fun to watch the all-ACC kick returner, Kelly Rhino, but not here. Chance Gwaltney almost kills that one at the 1. 41-yarder, but Georgia Tech will gladly settle for the touchback. And George Godsey, outgoing senior quarterback, second only to Joe Hamilton in Yellow Jacket history. We'll have it again.
Introducing the all-new Kia Spectra, an affordable car with so much more. Available with 6-speaker stereo, air conditioning, map lights, power windows, and Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty.
Are you still reading that?
Yeah, I can't put it down. Oh. Wow. The 2002 Kia Spectra. Finally, a car you can really get into.
It was our first house, and shortly before my parents' grand inspection, there was a tiny problem. I told my State Farm agent I had to get it fixed fast.
When you choose State Farm's Premier Service Claims Program, there's no calling around for estimate. You just go straight to a participating contractor, and they'll guarantee their work.
So this is it?
It's just that simple.
Why, they don't build them like this anymore. They don't.
Premier Service, just one more way. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
I want to be like Buddy Lee and be as strong as I can be. I'd help out everyone I see. I want to be like Buddy Lee. But then it occurs to me, not everyone can be like Buddy Lee. Lee Dungreaves can't bust them.
Finally, a portable vise that works wherever you do. The Record Quick Vise. It does things a vise can in places a vise can't. Made with heavy-duty resin, it can handle the tough jobs. You can take it with you because when you've got to go, you've got to go. The Record Quick Vise. Where will you use yours?
Each team's had it once, and Georgia Tech will take over at the 20-yard line with 4 wideouts. Godsey off a knee injury in the closing moments of the Peach Bowl last year, and that's really limited what Georgia Tech could do in terms of their running game. Passing about as good as usual. Campbell close to the first down. Michelle.
Well, speaking of limited, Florida State a little bit limited at linebacker today. Their middle linebacker, Bradley Jennings, normally a starter, out for the day. He has a small tear in the lateral cartilage of his right knee. He didn't practice Thursday. They were hopeful for today, but he will not play, Dave.
Leading tackler, one of the tops in the ACC and first team all-conference. 3-year starter out. Bringing up 2nd and 2. And Godsey throwing almost every down. It's a one-handed effort by Will Glover, Godsey's high school teammate in Tampa.
Now, what Georgia Tech's going to want to try to accomplish today, you'll see a lot of different sets, and you see them trying to spread it out with more receivers, but they're going to want to run the ball when they do that. You see in their 4 losses, they have not been successful. The coaches were telling us we're not running the ball well enough when we're trying to spread the defense out. We have to be more successful in that, and that will open up the passing game when we're in the 3 and 4 receiver sets.
Well, after the ACL tear in the Peach, Godsey can't run the option like he used to. First down Easily picked up here by Burns and Jarrell Hudson, the replacement in the middle for Bradley Jennings, making the tackle.
What you just said, Dave, has been terribly significant for Tate. Fully 30% of their run offense has been negated because of Godsey's knee, his inability to run the option. So they count on Joe Burns to do just this, rip through tackles.
Running play on the very next snap, on the other hand, will lose yardage.
Darnell Dockett again in the backfield. This and the Florida State defensive line has been a bit of a disappointment this year when you compare it to the D-lines of years past, and that's certainly a heck of a comparison. Just 14 sacks coming into today would be the first time in Bobby Bowden's career if they do not reach 20 sacks. But Dockett, who is just a sophomore, makes great penetration like those great D tackles of old for Florida State.
Yeah, 14 sacks. Expect that about 2 or 3 games into a season by Florida State. Sack almost executed by Boulware and incomplete, intended for Glover to Brian Kenny.
Dave, get back to Ole Miss and Vandy. Talk about Eli Manning, over 300 yards passing, came back in the second half. Joe Gunn, after Fulton for 46 yards, goes in for the score, 38-27. Gunn near 200 yards rushing.
Ole Miss comeback continues. 3rd and 11. Beck on the second possession. Again, looking at 3rd and long. Floater over the middle. Burns breaks the first couple of tackles and comes up well short at the 38. Secured there by Stanford Samuels.
This is strictly a 2-deep zone coverage. They fake the blitz, and there's no place to go deep. People say, well, why do they throw a short route in a situation like this? Because everybody's covered deep. That's the design of the defense. Excellent call by Mickey Andrews of Florida State.
Right, second kick, a beauty. It chases Robinson back inside the 10. Wisely lets it bounce into the end zone, and this is going to be a 62-yarder, his longest of the season. Chris Ricks has already shown how dangerous he can be through the air and on the ground. He's back on the attack next.
Introducing the all-new Kia Spectra, an affordable car with so much more. Available with 6-speaker stereo, air conditioning, map lights, power windows, and Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty.
Are you still reading that?
Yeah, I can't put it down.
Oh. Wow. The 2002 Kia Spectra. Finally, a car you can really get into.
Looking to save a little time this holiday season? Then go to BestBuy.com. You can find great gift ideas online. Then when you come to the store, you'll know just what to get. Best Buy. This holiday, turn on the fun.
This holiday season, the compact Presario 5000 TPC will come bearing gifts, like a free color printer, a $50 instant rebate, and free shipping. Not to mention a powerful Intel Pentium 4 processor and Microsoft Windows XP Home Edition, all for just $849. And you don't even need to travel afar. Call 1-800-331-4120 to buy now. You'll get 1 great PC and 3 great gifts.
College football Saturday. It's the SEC West Championship. Auburn will try to stop Rohan Davey and LSU. Auburn, LSU, 7:45 tonight on ESPN.
Good look at the exterior, redone a few years ago here at Doak Campbell Stadium to a spectacular effect. And inside 80,000 seats, all sold as they were when this game was originally set for September 15th. At that point, the Noles number 6 and Georgia Tech number 11 in the country, both undefeated. Things have changed a bit. As Ricks and the Florida State offense taking over at the 20. And off tackle, breaking tackles and near a first down on a terrific effort is Greg Jones.
Now, William McCray, the fullback, number 15, does a nice job of lead blocking here. But Georgia Tech's problem last week against the University of Georgia and Veron Hayes was tackling. Watch this. He's going to rip through. Greg Jones is going to rip through about 4 tacklers. They're going to have to do better than that to stay in this football game.
Leading rusher over 600 yards, 5.5 per carry at 243 pounds. The Lawrence picks up 9, hitting the backfield, makes another first tackler miss, and then finally will be dropped. And this will be a loss of about 4.
Well, that's one way to do it, the run blitz. Hit the gaps, especially when Jones is in there, the big man. Even though he went outside the last play, it starts up the middle, then breaks to the outside. So what they'll do is they'll run blitz the gaps right up in the middle, make penetration there. When you have a big back like that, he shakes the first tackle, but a lot of friends are there to clean up. Have a little party in the backfield.
Wimbush got him first. Collins finished him off, and it's 3rd and 4. With 2 tight ends, Ricks all day. Will keep again, close to the first down. And let's look in on Clemson and Duke with Brian Kenny.
Dave and Woody Dantzler with some history in this one as Clemson lighten it up at this point, 59-24. Dantzler already out of this game as Clemson looks to become bowl eligible. And for the first time ever in the history of college football, a quarterback has rushed for over 1,000 yards and passed for over 2,000. Dave?
Well, the very mention of Woodrow Dantzler brings chills to Georgia Tech fans. Don't say that. Ricks was short, and Gwaltney's kick down to the 27. Rhino. All 5'7", 179 pounds, returned to the 35 with a flag down. Gwaltney got off a 44-yarder. Rhino brought it back 8. Tonight, 8 Eastern on ESPN2. Brandon Doman, Luke Staley, the explosive BYU offense, will be looking to stay undefeated. They travel to Mississippi State, and that's a much-improved Bulldog team they'll get there, led by DeCenzo Miller and Dante Walker, the running backs. College Football Saturday continues on ESPN2, 8 Eastern.
Illegal block in the back on Georgia Tech on the return, so they get backed up. They're at 25.
Here's O'Leary's 7th full year as the Tech head coach, has him in their 5th straight bowl, the longest stretch since the mid-50s. And right off tackle for a first down is Burns. Bruises for 11. Samuels, the corner, to bring him down. Here's what happened on the front.
Shot in the backseat right there, the top, right in the middle of the screen. Shot in the back. That'll cost you. If you can see the numbers in the back of the jersey, don't hit the man. Taught that in grade school.
36, 1st and 10. And the toss sweep with Burns stacked up for maybe 1. Hudson, another tackle. Junior backup for Jennings out of Homestead.
Jarrell Hudson, I was at practice the other day, and I said, good gracious, who's that guy, 42, among the linebackers, and what's he doing over there? Somebody said, that's one of the linebackers. He's 6'3", 277, middle linebacker.
77?
Yes, sir. He's a young Mike Gullet playing linebacker.
He doesn't have his hand on the ground?
Bigger than 2 of the guys who do.
About 2 pancakes would be on the ground.
Campbell caught it at the 45. He's going to be close for the first down, covered by Rufus Brown, and there is the all-time receiving leader at Georgia Tech doing his stuff, Kelly Campbell.
2nd and 10, he gets a little bit of a cushion. Good stop and break. The ball's on the way right when he's turning around. Good way to pick up 9 to make it 3rd and 1. Campbell sure making a habit of doing great things here at Georgia Tech. He's got about every record there is here.
3rd time this year, 1st team all Atlantic Coast. 3rd and 1. And right through the middle, this should be enough for the first. Down to Michelle.
Well, Dave, Kelly Campbell, who you were speaking of, you said he's rewritten the receiving record books at Georgia Tech. He says he's grateful and proud, but he never thought this would happen. He told me earlier, my whole dream was getting the opportunity to play on the Division I level, make myself a better player, and maybe go on to the next level. So I asked him how much better he's gotten, and he said, much better.
Out of Atlanta, senior. Another one they will miss with Georgia Tech. Burns did have enough for the first, and they keep trying to pound it right at the middle of the Florida State defensive front. Charles Howard with the first contact on Burns.
So, Bill, we talked about it, yesterday and today. What are these guys playing for? What's the motivation? That they both know which bowls are going to. Florida State to the Gator, Georgia Tech to the Seattle Bowl. And it's the motivation, as we said, George O'Leary wants to see who's going to step up. But the motivation for Florida State's one, they haven't been down for a long, long time. And I'm sure the wonder is, can they get up for this game?
Yep, we'll get back to that.
Oh, now you got plenty of time to talk about it.
That's Dorsey, the all-conference freshman, pulling out too early.
Yep, and when he gets back over there, let's finish this.
On the offense, 5 yards, second down.
Coach Mac McWhirter, the fine offensive line coach for Georgia Tech, is going to have a little conversation with Nat. Nat, you're no longer a freshman. You're not only not a freshman, you are all ACC. You can't kill drives by moving prior to the snap. Mike, eventually we'll get back to your subject, whatever it was.
Dorsey, not only the youngest on the Tech roster, but the biggest, 6'6", 315. They faked this reverse earlier. They run it now. And with a nice result, should be close to a first down for Kerry Watkins. Knocked out by Rufus Brown, and that is 13 yards.
Nice call by Bill O'Brien, offensive coordinator for Georgia Tech. Notice that Charles Howard, number 59, is going to slip down inside and lose contain right here. There he is. He's supposed to keep contained. He goes down too far inside, and that allows Campbell to get around to the outside and make the key first down for Georgia Tech. Or maybe I should defer to my expert large person here. Is it a first down? Quick.
It's by the sideline there. I can't see. I can't see.
You're copping out again.
I say it's just a little bit short.
Your courage.
What? See that? It was a little short.
Yeah, and with the binoculars.
What?
Well, Florida State has had some defensive trends that they will no doubt address during the offseason, because this has been a year to forget in just about every measurement you can name. From number 2 nationally against the run last year to 41st. And 21 rushing touchdowns, even more damaging after giving up only 6 all last year.
Well, 132 yards is the worst at Florida State.
Here's a biggie right here.
Godsey sneaking to pick it up. Florida State's run defense the worst in 11 years. Against the pass, their worst ever. But so far, O'Leary testing mostly the run defense here in the first quarter.
A lot of problem with the pass defense is the rush we mentioned, just 14 sacks. A couple of young kids out at the cornerback position. They're not playing up and pressing and playing man as much as they used to in the past. There's not the confidence in those guys yet. That's, again, it's going to come. 1 year down, 14 years up isn't too bad.
Very deliberate drive has reached the 43 of the Noles. Out pattern incomplete intended for Campbell. Michelle?
Well, speaking about the tough part on the defense, Alonzo Jackson has actually named each of Florida State's 4 losses this season. He calls North Carolina the embarrassing game, Miami the big game, so that wasn't such a humiliating loss. NC State was the demeaning game, and Florida was the draining game. You sort of wonder what this game might turn out to be, Dave.
So far, Georgia Tech showing the ability to move it, but Florida State stiffening here, and no gain to bring up 3rd and 10 as Burns turned back immediately by Dockett.
Well, let's continue on what Michelle said, and what does this game hold? Bill, we know what George O'Leary was looking for. Now, the motivation for Florida State, down first time in a long time, know where they're going. What are they playing for?
When you go out on a football field, you're a football player. As soon as that thing's kicked off, you forget about all that stuff, and you're motivated for survival in a game like this. You've got to get after it. You just got to.
Godsey again throwing well short of the first down sticks, and Glover makes the catch at the 36. We still need 4.
Let's continue with that, Mike. You and I have both been in situations where maybe the goals that you set early in the year have gone by the board, but you're out there and you and I are lined up against each other. And about the first time you bust me in the mouth, I don't need to talk about whether we're going to go to this bowl or that. We got a football game to play, and we want to whip each other. That's what it comes down to. That's what Bobby Bowden said yesterday. Who wants it? Like this play.
Passing up a 53-yard field goal to go for it 4th and 4, and they'll get it basically the same play. Glover, and then coughed it up after the catch. Got to rule him down, although now marker is down.
I think I'm going to get Kerry Watkins for Georgia Tech. I think was actually engaged in a block as the ball was in the air. I'm not. It's what it looked like to me.
Well, the way the players are responding, it looks like you're right, or at least something like that.
And again, I'm tired of being right.
Pass interference.
Yeah, here we go.
On the offense. 15 yards. Previous spot. Repeat 4th down.
I'm just too good. This is number 9, Kerry Watkins, right here.
You're
blocking.
You're loving this, aren't you?
As the ball is in the air. And that's going to be the flag came in a little late, but it was a good call by the ref.
You actually saw something in the secondary, and it was true.
A lot of times when I was playing on the D-line, I was knocked back into the secondary, so I got to able to check things out back there before I hit the ground.
We all pick up experience different ways.
We know better than that.
Looked like they had the first down pick up. Instead, Dyke back in, and Robinson has to watch it back over his head, and this one is killed at the 8-yard line by Dan Dyke, a 43-yarder. Chris Ricks and the offense backed up in a scoreless first quarter.
This holiday season, give the gift of Atlanta Thrashers hockey. For family packs and individual game tickets, call 404-584-PUCK or buy online at AtlantaThrashers.com.
It's the time when wishes come true. Drop in for the best lease offer of the year on the 2002 Cadillac DeVille. Call for residency restrictions and lease details. Season's best. Visit your Atlanta area Cadillac dealer.
The 49ers look golden again on ESPN Sunday Night Football with the NFC's top-rated quarterback, Jeff Garcia, on a loaded offense featuring Garrison Hurst.
There goes Hurst. Through the middle.
And Terrell Owens.
They get it to Owens, and he's in for the touchdown.
San Francisco is poised to overtake the Rams in the West. First, they'll have to outpace Buffalo's rejuvenated offense. Bills 49ers, 8:30 Sunday on ESPN. It all starts with NFL primetime at 7:30.
ESPN's presentation of college football is brought to you by Vice Grip Toolbox, multi-purpose tool.
Back in Tallahassee, down to the last minute 25 of a scoreless first quarter. Georgia Tech and Florida State, after a terrific punt by Dyke, the Noles backed up to their own 8. Defense dominated first quarter. 2 tight end set, Florida State. Starting with Greg Jones on the ground. And I don't think he even got back to the line of scrimmage. Ricardo Wimbush was there.
Ricardo, go ahead. I'll say Ricardo Wimbush, Nick Rogers. They're making, Bill, right now they're making great penetration on that. And 2 tight end set there for Florida State. And Georgia Tech just flat out whooped them.
Yeah, and having difficulty running the football, it won't be long before they go up top. Their plan was to go deep, and they're going to test Marvius Hester, number 29. Rick's there, 126 yards needed for the ACC freshman total offense record.
Jones lost 1. Nick Maddox back in. And the play fake, throw out of the end zone. Maddox Will cut it back to the 16 and bring up a 3rd and 2. Another tackle by Wimbush, Michelle.
Well, Dave, when Chris Ricks signed with Florida State, his father, Chris Sr., reminded him to stay humble. He said, hey, they don't give out medals when you get your marching orders, only when you've been under fire and you've gone above and beyond the call of duty. So we'll hold off on the medals and parades until we see what happens by November 18th. Well, this week, Ricks was named ACC Rookie of the Year, so I think Chris Sr. may owe his son a parade, Dave.
And a medal?
But he reminds him. Well, he replaced the only quarterback ever to start for 3 years under Bowden, the Heisman winner, Chris Weinke, also the all-time leading passer in ACC history. How big the shoes were to fill.
Some other big shoes to fill of Mark Richt. Darrell Dickey, the quarterback coach, did a marvelous job with Chris this year.
Jeff Bowden, the offensive coordinator. Lots of new faces for the Noles. And the quarter came to an end just before that snap. So they'll traipse down to the opposite end of the field after a 0-0 first 15 minutes in Tallahassee.
Sunday NFL Countdown, Sunday mornings at 11 Eastern, only on ESPN.
Introducing the all-new Kia Spectra, an affordable car with so much more. Available with 6-speaker stereo, air conditioning, map lights, power windows, and Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty.
Are you still reading that?
Yeah, I can't put it down.
Oh. Wow. The 2002 Kia Spectra. Finally, a car you can really get into.
Roger that. Bandits, 2 o'clock. Tally ho. Splash 1. Hit 1. Gotcha. Splash 2. What the? Bandits on me. Still on me.
Sorry, Grandma.
Ace Combat 4, rated E for everyone.
She'll definitely show. Just do it. I'm going to make a collect call.
1-800-COLLECT presents Ava Save-A-Lot. We told you.
Careful how you dial, boys.
Ava, we always use 1-800-COLLECT.
Then you already know it saves at least $1 or $2.
Of course. It's so easy.
Thought you had a call to make.
Talk about saving some dough.
1-800-COLLECT. Save $1 or $2.
The bow. Resistance becomes strength. Becomes power. The power to change and reshape your entire body. This is Bowflex, an entire gem-in-one easy-to-use machine. So powerful, it delivers over 60 health club quality exercises with up to 410 pounds of resistance in any room in your home. Strength training with Bowflex is so effective that we guarantee you'll get the results you want in 6 weeks or less. One simple workout. 20 minutes a day, 3 days a week. Bowflex is real. The results are real. And you can own one with no money down and payments as low as $33 per month. Call right now for a free video and brochure. Bowflex, the power is yours.
Watching two of the top 3 offenses in the Atlantic Coast Conference being dominated by the defenses. Through the first quarter anyway, and the second will start with a 3rd and 2 for Florida State from their 16. And Rick's looking over the middle for Cruz Bell. Wimbush close to pass interference, but no flag. And the ESPN game track through 1 quarter, so Chris Ricks do a lot more damage with his legs than with his arm.
George Godsey, a combination of courage, intelligence, and careful play here so far in the early going.
How about Kelly Campbell? We used to him catching the ball. How about running the ball? Mr. Versatility.
Versatility?
Yeah. Thought I'd mix it up here.
Is that British?
Flag down. Low line drive kick by Gwaltney, taking a big Florida State roll to the 37.
And I will tell you right now, if that is what it very often is, from over there on the side and Georgia Tech lined up offside, you don't want to face that guy when you come off the sideline, and it's not.
They got lucky, it's not.
They are. Those defenders are real happy. You look down and see that flag and say, oh, my gosh, do it now. Yeah, but if you've got to face Bobby, Georgia Tech's probably going to decline it here and take the football where they got it.
Illegal procedure on the kicking team. Not enough men on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty. Proceed 4th down.
Okay, you got to have 7 men on this line of scrimmage. And what happens is these tackles like to sit back off the ball so that they can see more of the rush. And that's this guy right here. I can't make out his number, but he's the guy that cost them the penalty.
I'll tell you why they want him to kick it over. They want Rhino returning the ball, Dave.
Yep. That one went 47 with no return. They figure they can do a lot better than that. And they also have Gwaltney punting from the middle of the end zone this time. Not nearly the kick that the first one was. But again, unreturnable, might have a halo violation. Yeah. Rhino fielding it at midfield, a 39-yarder, and that was Bryant McFadden running right past it.
Yeah, we've seen one dumb penalty by each team. Georgia Tech a hit in the back when it was just totally uncalled
5 yards.
for.
Kick catching interference on the kicking team. First down.
I love Brian after that. He tries to do the little scare tactic to Rhino, run right by, and then he turns around and says to the referee, hey, somebody pushed me.
It was his teammate that pushed him past as he was waving in the face of Rhino, who was totally undistracted. Typical of a Rhino. And there have been a bunch of them at Georgia Tech.
So the exchange of penalties working in Georgia Tech's favor quite nicely. A yard maybe for Burns. Abdul Howard, the Rover, one of the 14 outgoing Seminole seniors in their final home game. Up for the stop. And the second quarter has been one of dominance for both teams. In fact, for Georgia Tech, the only period all year they've been outscored in for the season, overtime. 9-3.
Not a good period to be outscored in.
You are a genius, Bill.
Short cross, not a bad game. First down, inside the 35. As again, Abdul Howard coming up.
Wherever I'd improved, it's just from the weekly exposure to your intellect.
Certain that's been it.
It's almost like radiation.
Mr. Godsey showed some improvement there over a couple of throws earlier. He called that one beautifully at the line. Saw Watkins had nobody near him. Went with a quick dump for the first down.
Godsey 6 out of 10 for only 49 yards. Shotgun, a little option. Well, the option effect anyway, and Sean Gregory hit by Samuels. Tonight, 7:45 Eastern, the showdown to decide the SEC West as the stingy Auburn defense will try to shut down LSU's prolific quarterback Rohan Davey and Josh Reed, the top receiver in the country, the LSU Tigers. West championship at stake, winner on to the SEC title game as College Football Saturday continues here on ESPN. Godsey on a 2nd and 5. Dropped. And a catchable ball through the hands of Jonathan Smith.
Got to look the ball in, Mr. Smith. It's a nice throw by Godsey, putting it right. He does a nice job of throwing on the break. Ball's on the way as the receiver's turning. As you said, Bill, you got to catch the point of the football. Make that triangle with your hands and catch the point of the football. He did none of that.
The thing hit him in the face.
Yep.
It went right through his hands. He did not look good on that at all.
You make the blooper reel doing that.
So 3rd and 5, 4 wide. Blitz picks up, throw on the mark. And they should spot him, I think, with enough forward progress for a first down. As Campbell makes the catch, let's get a quick Miami-Virginia Tech look in. Brian?
Dave, Virginia Tech storming back here on punt attempt. Miami back, and it's blocked by Eric Green of Virginia Tech. Brandon Manning will pick it up and bring it all the way back in. 7th block kick of the year, 2nd in the game for Tech. 26-24. They're going for two, and the tie. Grant Knoll back in the air. Ernest Wilford in his hands, and out. He dropped it. Still a 2-point game, but a lot of time left. 26-24, Dave.
Oh, that's excruciating.
I'm going to tell you what, that was surprising me. I know Miami hasn't had some luck there, but I thought the way they were rolling, I thought that would be, not a walk, but I thought it would be a comfortable win for Miami. But Va-Tech just playing them incredibly strong.
They are so tough up there. They're tough everywhere, but I mean, they are really tough in that stadium. And Joe Burns is tough. He knows how to pick up a blitzer. Number 35, the tailback, is the reason that they made this first down. Boom, right there. He hits the linebacker right in the 9. Stuffs him at the line of scrimmage.
Measured, gave him the first. And now again, Burns plunging off tackle. One of the 21, Michael Boulware, sophomore strong side linebacker. Brother repeater on the tackle.
They'll just keep doing it, keep trying that run up the gut. Either Burns is going to bust one of these, or it's going to really set up that play-action pass. But
well, both, Mike. And the thing about Joe Burns is he's at his very best in the fourth quarter. O'Leary likes to run him, and grind down the defense.
Godsey making sure everything's in order before getting this snap on 2nd and 8. And wide open inside the 5 before tripping Jonathan Smith. They're going to mark him at the 3. 19 yards and first and goal, Georgia Tech.
He caught the point of the ball that time, Bill.
He caught the point of the ball, and bless his heart, he couldn't stand up. He thought he was in the NFL because he bounced up and ran it in the end zone.
Oh, that's smart. Give it a go. He got twisted around here at the end of the route. Why it looked like he couldn't keep his feet, but a nice job of concentration.
Well, that was a tough adjustment. I mean, he missed the easy catch and made the great catch. He got bumped. He turned. The ball was a little behind him. Nice catch.
Beat Malcolm Tatum, first and goal, 3-yard line, Yellow Jacket. Looking in zone to the back of the end zone and incomplete. Intended for the tight end, Russell Matvey.
Got a late flag.
Yeah, that late flag very often means a substitution violation. Are there 12 out there?
I can't count that fast. I'm just going to let the ref tell me.
Holding on the defense. Penalty is half the distance to the goal. First down.
Well, Georgia Tech got a bit of a gift there because the route, there's the 2 receivers standing right next to each other. Whenever that happens, that's bad route running. But they caught a break there with Florida State in the holding. So
yeah, that thing came from way back there, too. I would question that call a little bit. We couldn't see the holding.
And down near the goal line, Florida State in their losses. They've not been a tough unit to crack. Oh, great reaction here at the 6th. Dockett all over Sean Gregory.
Well, that's his 3rd time today Mr. Dockett has made a tackle behind the line of scrimmage. And what was great there, normally you saw him jump over the top. What a great look at that. Look at him jump over the top. Normally you see D linemen submarine low and try and make a new line of scrimmage about a yard back. Dockett says, hey, I'm not going to waste myself on the ground, crawl around like a worm. I'm going to go over the top and make a play.
Yeah, but there's a risk involved to that technique, as you know.
Absolutely. There was a reward there.
Lost back to the 5 for 2nd and goal. Godsey to Gregory out of the backfield and reaches the 1. And that's it. Abdul Howard made sure of it. Joining him was Kendall Pope, the weak side linebacker, and 3rd and goal from there.
Again on the goal line, you're looking for penetration. Dockett trying again. He's got himself a little audience there. 3 guys looking his way.
So impressed with Godsey. He looks to his left, to the middle, throws to his 3rd receiver.
Option. Gregory to the 6th, riding him was Pope. That's what Mickey Andrews has been missing this year.
And, you know, even though the talent level hasn't been as high as it has at Florida State, they still have the speed, and they can still come up and make the plays. And Godfrey, because of the knee, is not that much of a threat to run the ball, so you got to think it's going to come out of there. Pope knew that and went up and just destroyed the pitch man.
23 yards for the ACC's leading scorer, and Luke Monge knocks it through. But Georgia Tech, after reaching the 1-yard line, knocked back. George O'Leary not happy at all having set the 3.
Coach Mickey Andrews has seen an option or two. They do a cross charge. Kendall Pope, number 9, up the field on the pitch. Coach Andrews feeling a little bit better about things. 3-0.
America, we really wanted to participate in the Olympic Winter Games. But in the end, we decided to support the real athletes and stick to the things we do best, like defending your money with a leader in photo security check cards and credit cards.
Welcome to the annual ESPN the Magazine Sports Mascot Picnic. Every year, pro and college mascots come from all over to talk about how much they love ESPN the Magazine and show off their free fleece pullovers. You know more mascots subscribe to ESPN the Magazine than any other sports magazine in the world? Hey, here's the college guys. Fellas, who's your ESPN the Magazine favorite? They're so into Dick Vitale. And every new subscriber gets this ESPN the Magazine fleece pullover absolutely free. These high-quality fleece pullovers are extra large and roomy. Fits all shapes and sizes, from devils to penguins.
Subscribe now. Get 26 issues, 1 year for just $1 an issue. That's 71% off the newsstand price.
Hey, if you're a sports mascot or simply a regular human who loves sports, pick up the phone and call for ESPN the Magazine and your free fleece pullover.
1-888-ESPN-MAG.
Our aerial views today, courtesy of Goodyear, and overhead, the Goodyear Blimp Stars and Stripes, continuing a tradition of appearances at major events that began in 1925 with the Blimp Pilgrim.
That's cool.
Spectacular views all afternoon from the Stars and Stripes.
I thought thing's hard to drive, steer. I think it would be, would it? Watch the game.
Hard to find out. Monge. He outkeeps to Stefanzo Foot. And the speedy freshman hemmed in at the 13. Now what's up with Miami and Virginia Tech, Brian?
Dave, Miami got the ball back. Virginia Tech stopped them, gave the ball back over to their offense with more than 4 minutes to play. A lot of time left. Grant Knoll in the air. Ed Reed, his second interception of the game. Still some time left, but Miami has the ball, less than 2 minutes to go.
All right, after the close call at Boston College, and this one, is Miami as good as everybody thinks?
Oh, I still think
pretty good.
Yeah, I still think they deserve it.
They're pretty good.
Go to the title game, they hold them off, yeah.
Florida State at the 13. Last week for Greg Jones is stopped for a loss. On the Michelle.
Well, on Monday night, George O'Leary had a meeting with his players, and he had a chalkboard that looked a little something like this. I'll do a crude imitation. He drew a circle on the chalkboard, and inside he wrote the words coach and team. Actually, coaches will give everyone a fair shake. Outside the circle, he wrote things like parents, friends, media, girlfriends. He said the only ones who can control what we do are the two things inside that circle. He goes, I don't want you to pay attention to anything outside the circle, because if we pay attention to the inside, we have a chance to go 9-4, Dave.
Haven't heard a lot of nice things this week from those outside the circle. Rick's gonna miss the ball. Breaks away at the 50. Caught at the 42 by Marvius Hester. former walk-on senior from Jacksonville, Bruce Bell, 49 yards on the catch and run.
Bruce Bell, the playmaker, announced his intentions to keep making big plays when he said, I need the ball more. Breaks the tackle of Corey Collins, their number 4 for Georgia Tech, and does what Jeff Bowden told us yesterday had not been happening enough, turned a short gain into a long one.
Way down for Bruce Bell. 11 touchdowns to 1. And now, nice combination of the pass and the run. Greg Jones, a little bit of a delay, gets inside the 40.
You said exactly right about Bell, Dave. Last year he had 38 touches and 11 touchdowns. This year, 27 touches and just 1 touchdown. Hadn't been getting it. Just a former walk-on who's a captain of the team this year, so he certainly has paid his dues for not having the year that he had last year.
No Golden, no Morgan. Whole different combination of wide receivers for Florida State this year.
Ricardo Wimbush, I got a little anxious.
Well, his boss, Ted Roof, the fine defensive coordinator at Georgia Tech.
Offside on the defense. 5 yards. Second down.
Used to do a little of that sort of antic, get up in there and see if he could bait the defense. Sure, he taught Wimbush a little bit better technique than what was just employed because he was in there too long and allowed the snap to catch him.
What did Ted Roof's coach used to do when he did that?
Yeah.
Well, we had a discussion. He was a great player. He's the best leader I ever coached in all my years.
Second less than and losing yardage is William McCray.
Because usually he made a play just like that the next play.
And this rush defense for Georgia Tech on the year, just giving up 112 yards, 17th in the country. And I know, Bill, you were talking about Ted Roof again. Everybody knows you were the coach at Georgia Tech when he was your captain and player there, and you were saying as tough as they came when he played, huh?
The toughest. And in those days, they didn't have the blood rule, so we knew the game wasn't started till Ted had blood running all down his face and his shirt, and it was usually somebody else's.
Ted Roof, who joined Bill in the Georgia Tech Hall of Fame a couple of years ago. Here's 3rd and 2. And another give to McCray. And this should be enough for the first of the 32.
Yeah, he's got enough for it, just enough push to get the first down, move the chains, keep it going.
Really nice job by the offensive line for Florida State on the right side. The guards and tackles coming off, just getting good movement against the bubble. Right there. You can see there's a nice hole. The back just darts up in there. McCray gets down behind those big rear ends and makes the first. That's good short yardage, offensive blocking.
Oh, I'm 2 for 2, guys. Ooh, please. Oh, okay. I'm up here begging.
Just nice to know you haven't lost your touch, big man. My large and lucid friend.
What'd you call it? Lucid?
Well, he's large.
Oh, yeah. We'll go with at least half of it.
No, the boy is good on those Martian things. I have to confess that.
He really misses those. 32-yard line, 1st and 10. Georgia Tech on the board, a 23-yard Montier field goal, and now the Noles have a pretty good march. Ricks trying to get 6 here. Double coverage in the middle of the end zone for Javon Walker and incomplete.
You know, that's one of those, Bill, I don't understand sometimes. I mean, that's basically a one-man route. Ricks is looking for him the whole way. There's 2 defenders back there, and he throws it up. I mean, it's a jump ball. This is like, it's like a punt.
Yeah, but Florida State does this. They will say to their top receiver, and this year it's Javon, we're going to throw it up to you. If there's 1, 2, or 4 back there, we want you to go get it. We want you to rebound it. But this is a Florida State
But
play.
this year, it doesn't seem they had the athletes to do it, obviously, as well as they had in the past.
Well, they're going to test Hester, too. 29 is going to get tested repeatedly today because he got beat last week. Deep.
Walker 6'3". Hester and Collins are defended 5'11". Like Walker, most of those jump balls. Ricks looks up. A lot of room. He'll will be close for another first at the 21. In fact, should have it a gain of 11. He will.
What a nice fake. He was looking downfield and looked for the little dump-off pass, and then he makes his decision quick, Bill, on when he wants to take off and run. You're going to see the look. It's going to look like he's a little flare pass, and I said, no, boom, I'm going to take it straight up. And I like the way he goes north and south right away. No feet first slide there either.
He's not looking to slide. No. What does that do to a D-line?
Let me tell you what, it makes me want to light him up if he doesn't slide feet first.
Can't catch him.
Well, that's a good point. I didn't want to bring that up, but
almost 50 yards on the ground, almost as many as through the air. Fake toss, shovel pass, and Carver Donaldson, the tight end, first and goal at the 9.
This is what forces, exactly what Ricks did by running, forces the pass.
Let's check in with Brian Kenny.
Dave, Virginia Tech falling short. They stormed back, got within a 2-point conversion of Larry Coker in Miami, but the Hurricanes 11-0 in the regular season, 26-24 the final over the Hokies.
They are sick about that in Austin, Texas, because Texas needed a Miami loss and a win over Colorado for them to reach the road. Now it's a little tougher. Maddox is hit for a loss. Now Texas has got to win their game and hope for Florida to lose either to Tennessee or Tennessee to win and then lose the SEC championship. They need a lot more help now that
there's still obviously a formula and some things that can happen for them to happen, but they don't control their own destiny. They obviously have to take care of business. Texas does against Colorado. They did it earlier in the year, 41-7. Need to do it a little later tonight and then hope some things happen.
I don't think it's the same Colorado team as they played earlier.
Well, you're absolutely right about that.
Just outside the 10. Second down and goal. Ricks after the play fake over the middle. Easy touchdown. P.K. Sam has his second as a Florida State Seminole.
He beats Chris Young on the inside. There's no help by a safety at all. Great play fake, great pass.
I'm not sure what the coverage was because the corner didn't run with him. Nope. And the safety didn't get over. I think there was a miscommunication somewhere.
Now Bethea for the extra point. High school teammate of Godsey and Glover at Tampa Jesuit knocks it through. P.K. Sam, state champion hurdler, Buford, Georgia product with terrific potential, and his 9th catch of the year produces his second collegiate touchdown and a lead for the Noles.
Play music, watch TV, edit video, burn it to almost anything yourself. Sony Vaio MX with Intel Pentium 4 processor.
Value meal at Burger King. Get a Lord of the Rings light-up glass goblet, just $1.99 each. Collect all 4. Guys, collect all 4. That doesn't mean there's only 4. There's plenty. Oh. But supplies are limited. The adventure begins here.
We have pilots down behind enemy lines.
There is a time for diplomacy. We'll authorize a search and rescue.
The American people want their pilot back. Now what is the problem?
But now, you will lose your command.
So be it.
Time is up.
How soon can your team be ready? Say the word and we'll saddle up.
Behind enemy lines.
Let's go get our boy back.
Rated PG-13. Now playing only in theaters.
College football Saturday. It's the SEC West Championship. Auburn will try to stop Rohan Davey and LSU. Auburn, LSU, 7:45 tonight on ESPN.
Well, both offenses now starting to get on track, and Florida State drives for the first touchdown of the game. 10 plays, 87 yards, 82 of those through the legs and arm of Chris Ricks. And a 7-3 lead. So Bethea.
Ricks does really a nice job on that drive, Dave. see all the yards attributed to him. I love the way he takes off and runs the ball. Really makes such a great threat when he passes.
Move down to the 5-yard line to Campbell. Had to back up reverse field a little bit. Nothing there. Down to the 20, and we'll see if Godsey can answer. Plenty of time. 4:44 to go before half.
At the Popeyes Cajun Chicken Festival, the holidays are bursting with Yuletide Cajun flavor. Popeyes Cajun Holiday Platter serves up 2 tender pieces of crispy, crunchy Cajun chicken, creamy coleslaw, Popeyes famous red beans and rice, and a warm buttermilk biscuit for only $3.99. Or bring home a Cajun-flavored holiday feast. 10 pieces of Popeyes crispy, crunchy Cajun chicken, spicy all mild for only $7.99.
Okay, there. We have an image. I'm not sure if it's a boy or there's another one. And a third.
Got a big family? Then you need more phone lines. With Family Talk, Singular Wireless can deliver up to 3 additional lines for just $16.99 each. Plus, you can get up to 4 cool phones free. That's an incredible price to start a family. Talking. Singular Wireless. What do you have to say?
College football Saturday at 7:45. It's the SEC West Championship game. The Auburn D travels to Death Valley to try to stop Rohan Davey and LSU. At 8, Brandon Doman and number 7 BYU aim to keep their undefeated season and BCS hopes alive against a much-improved Mississippi State team.
Doman keeps it himself and scores a touchdown.
Auburn, LSU at 7:45 on ESPN. BYU, Mississippi State at 8 on ESPN2 tonight.
We're not too far from downtown Tallahassee, the Florida State campus. A couple miles away, Doak Campbell Stadium. As usual, sold out, 80,000 plus. And a 7-3 Florida State lead, 4:44 in the half. Godsey and Peck back to work from the 20. And slipping free over the middle, Gregory Shaw picks the screen 9 yards.
Touchdowns that look so wide open are usually because somebody, in this case, one of the brightest players on Georgia Tech's team, Jeremy Myers, looks in the backfield rather than taking his inside responsibility. P.K. Sam is able to get well behind him. When he released inside, that was Myers' responsibility, or at least it appears that way from up here.
Whitcamp. And that opened up real nicely. On 2nd and 1, Burns with the 31, and he will have the first. Another tackle by Abdul Howard, the Rover.
Nothing fancy so far with Georgia Tech. Again, you're used to seeing a lot of sets with them. Maybe we'll start to see more and more as they try and mix it up. When you have a speed defense like you do at Florida State, you want to get them on your heels, and a way to do that is to give them variations of looks on offense.
Both teams with all 3 timeouts remaining. With a draw play give to Burns. And into the arms of Michael Boulware, down to Michelle.
Oh, Bill, another one of the brightest players on the Georgia Tech roster is George Godsey. Already has a degree in industrial and systems engineering. So he could have had a relatively easy semester this fall. Instead, he enrolled in 4 classes. Then he dropped back to 3 like a sane person. I'll tell you what they were, though, after the play.
I promise you they aren't easy.
PE, theory of PE, right, not included in Godsey's schedule. 2nd down and 2. Oh, and a dangerous out is incomplete, intended for Campbell.
He won't be incomplete in these classes, but most might. Here are the 3 classes: transportation and supply chain systems, probabilistic models, and classical probability. So, Bill, my question for you is, how many of those did you take at Georgia Tech?
Well, I'll say this in response to that. We have a probabilistic model right up here. To my immediate right, he's about 6'5", 297 pounds.
I don't even know what the heck you were just talking about, Michelle.
Bill claimed he placed out of every one of those classes as a freshman. 3rd and 2, Burns running free. And a blocker out front, Glover. Burns with a dive for the pylon. He just missed. He reaches the 1-yard line on a 60-yard catch and
running and attempting to run, and the illusion of run can do for you into the play action, and the guy that's been running all of a sudden is out for the pass.
And what a wonderful job by Will Glover, number 3 wide receiver, out in front of Burns. As this play develops, Burns lined up at fullback. That's another thing. He's not normally lined up there, and you'll see that, well, we didn't get a chance to see it, but a great job by Will Glover.
Ross Mitchell, a backup linebacker and fullback, who lined up in an H-back there, went in motion just as he heard a whistle. And a timeout called by Georgia Tech. Their first and goal coming from the 1 with 2:52 to go.
Go ahead. You can handle it. Now you can take on the curves, the twists, the turns.
With the revolutionary Craftsman 3D sander, only from Sears. Its 3 rotating discs pivot, adjusting to all sorts of shapes and surfaces. Convex, concave, curved, and flat. Call now for the Craftsman 3D sander, only from Sears. Just $49.99. Ever spent hours hand sanding only to end up tired and frustrated? With the Craftsman 3D sander, those hours turn to minutes. Variable speed control lets you adjust to all types of jobs. Light sanding for fine finishing. Aggressive for when you really need it. There's a wide variety of specialized discs available that'll give you even more project possibilities. Work on metal, buff and polish. Get rid of rust. Craftsman makes anything possible.
Call now for the Craftsman 3D sander, only from Sears. Just $49.99. Have your Sears or other credit card ready and call 1-800-544-3311.
Moo.
Now's a great time to call 1-800-GATEWAY, because right now you can get a great deal on a computer like the Gateway 500S. It comes loaded with an Intel Pentium 4 processor, 20-gigabyte hard drive, and a CD burner. And if you call now, we'll double the RAM for free. We'll even give you the choice of a color printer, a scanner, or a PC camera for free, too. You get it all for under $1,200, so call 1-800-GATEWAY now. That's 1-800-GATEWAY.
Now Georgia Tech ready for first and goal from the 1. And in the eye, Gregory the fullback ahead of Burns at tailback and Mitchell in motion. And it is Burns right at the goal line. Did he get in? Touchdown.
I'm going to tell you guys what set that up, and it was seemed like an insignificant thing at the time, was the long play to Burns when Billy lined up at fullback. And here you see the easy run in. I shouldn't say easy, but the short run in. But when you line up at fullback on the long run, you're aware of a tailback going out for a pass, but fullbacks on play action out in the flat are tough to cover.
Monge knocks through his 130th consecutive PAT, all without a miss in his 3-year career, an ACC record streak. All Joe Burns on that one, the 60-yard catch, finishing it off with the 1-yard touchdown run. And Brian Kenny, what do you have for us at the half?
Dave, we'll have full highlights of how the Hurricanes were nearly dropped by Virginia Tech. Looked like they had that game in hand, but the Hokies came back, fell short. Well, the comeback by Eli Manning as well, and of course, full highlights of Army-Navy from Philadelphia. President Bush was there. Guys, Rodney Gilmore will join me then.
And again, if you did not see the near 2-point conversion to tie it up for Virginia Tech, stick around. You'll want to see that. And
unless you're a Virginia Tech fan.
Amazing how close they were to tying Miami.
That poor kid got to be sick right in his hands, and he dropped the ball.
Georgia Tech has Joe Burns for another year. He is their 5th 1,000-yard rusher. Thomasville, Georgia.
And an all-around back, Dave, came into the game with 23 receptions, so they liked him out of the backfield, as shown on that play before. Set up the touchdown.
Fourth not bringing this one out. And 2:42 in the half for Florida State, which will start from their 20.
Wide receiver coach David Kelly works his guys to be complete players. Watch Will Campbell come all the way across the field, get into the face of the defender and drive him down the field. Will Glover, great job of blocking. Did I say Campbell? It was Will Glover. Now good running by Burns to knock it in the end zone after a little blow on the timeout. Georgia Tech takes the lead.
They've outgained the Florida State offense right now. 181-138. Florida State moving it only once, and it was on their last possession when they took the 7-3 lead. Whistle on this snap, and the play clock was down to 0.
Now we're going to see Florida State.
Dead ball. Delay of the game. On the offense. 5 yards. First down.
We're going to see Florida State try the 2-minute drill, and for Georgia Tech, 33 sacks on the year. We'll see if they can get a little bit of a pass rush going from Mr. Ricks.
Now, Bobby Bowden not particularly bothered.
He said, how many real good teams you see that don't have a lot of penalties? Be aggressive.
He doesn't like that kind. He does not mind the aggressive type. Over the middle. And Maddox picking up 14 of the 15.
I'll tell you, in a situation like this, I think the biggest threat on this field is Chris Ricks' ability to run. When things do not develop, he bolts out of there, and I mean, he is a threat. He can motor.
4 carries, 49 yards already for Ricks. Quarterback draw here. First down, 7 or 8 more. He has been by far their most dangerous runner.
You see, that doesn't look like much, but Mike, that's really tough for a D lineman.
Well, and I told you how Gather sometimes will go and play tackle, and they had a stunt this time. Right up here, you see the stunt coming in, and Rogers, the end, comes underneath and goes right by Ricks and misses the tackle.
Personal foul on the defensive team. 15 yards. First down.
Now, that doesn't help. Tacking on 15 to the end of a first down run.
Yep, and I see it right there. Not a smart play at all.
44, Tony Hargrove, true freshman.
Guy's laying on the ground, and Tony Hargrove will learn he is a true freshman, and that's the risk of putting a true freshman on the field. But you've got to lay off the guy when he's lying on the ground.
So they're ready in on a Port Charlotte High School, moving Florida State up to the 48 of Tech. Minute 48 to go as Ricks looks, and he's going deep for Thorpe up the sideline and incomplete. And wanting a flag on the hit delivered by Corey Collins. So they won't get one. 2nd and 10.
Collins did a good job playing center field that time, reading Ricks coming over and making the play. Again, Florida State's M.O., Bill. You're absolutely right. Throwing it up and letting those guys get it. They just haven't had the guys this year that have been able to get it, but they certainly aren't going away from their game plan.
They're going to keep doing what they do. That's what programs do that are successful.
Wolf averaging 23 yards per catch and dominating practice lately. Target on that one. This one is off the hands of Maddox. And now 3rd and 10.
Boy, this would have been one heck of a throw. This is a tough throw on a deeper out route. Tries to put it on Maddox. Again, nice throw on the break. Oh, right off that left fingertip.
When you look up and down the Florida State roster, there are the usual numbers of parade All-Americas and high school players of the year. Maddox was that for North Carolina. Now Ricks stepping up, overthrowing Sam badly. Maybe his worst pass. Sam open at the 30.
A defensive coordinator, Ted Ruth, told us last night that he intended to try to confuse Ricks with lining up. They're lining up there. They got 4 people across here. Watch the defensive end stand up, run out. That's Darrell Smith, the normal middle linebacker. So it's a 3-man rush with 8 back there and no place to throw it.
So with a minute and a half to go, Gwaltney's kick. Going to be killed around the 5-yard line.
That's a wedge.
Backed it up nicely, 42 yards. Well, how do Shannon Sharp's words affect the Ravens? How has Herman Edwards turned the Jets defense around? And why does Kurt Warner spin the ball? Which quarterback never used the laces? You can hear the trade secrets of the league's best quarterbacks by joining Chris Berman and company. They'll get you ready for Week 11 on Sunday NFL Countdown at 11 a.m. Eastern on ESPN tomorrow.
5-8-2 teams in the NFL right now. Pretty impressive at this point in the season.
Hey, Mike, you want to have our annual argument about whether to go for points here, starting from your 5-yard line with a minute 21 before the half?
Not the 5-yard line. Well, you try to play and see what you gain. I agree with that.
Okay.
At the 6. Conservative start, to say the least, and that's going to lose 2.
It'll be interesting to see if Florida State uses its timeouts here. Now, they got 3, and if you want to make Georgia Tech punt out of the back of the end zone, you call timeout, and that's what they've just done.
This snap will just barely come from across the 3 after the timeout.
When the Navy sought a power source for a new generation of ship, we had the right energy. When the nation called for better hurricane forecasting, conditions here were perfect. And when a life-saving cancer drug was in short supply, we had the right chemistry. How fast do ideas move? At the speed of imagination. Florida State University. Ideas that move.
Sun setting, shadows completely engulfing the field of Bill Campbell Stadium now, and with a minute 15 remaining in the half, the Yellow Jackets back up to their 3 with a 2nd and 12. Godsey out of the end zone, room across the middle, very close to the first down, in fact, out to the 16-yard line for Jonathan Smith.
Love that. Love that play call. And, Bill, I mean, they didn't just run it, let Florida State burn their timeouts and punt like you see teams do. That's going for it. That's getting it downfield. That's moving the chain. If they're not going to score, they're sure as heck not going to give Florida State good field position to get something before the half is over.
When you got a quarterback that you really believe in, it's not going to throw it to a dumb place. You give him a chance to do that, and it's a whole different complexion right now to this football game.
I think somebody taking probabilistic models is going to throw it to a dumb place. Incomplete on one hop that time. Stopping the clock at 42 seconds. Intended for Campbell.
Well, let's ask our probabilistic model his opinion of that.
Yeah, he won't make no dumb throws.
Not near one, huh?
How was that?
That was good.
Well, you know. The flag down.
Holding on the offense. Penalty is declined. 2nd down.
Well, they still have 2 timeouts left.
They want Georgia Tech to have to punt. That's their goal. If they walk it back, they give Georgia Tech another play, and that's the reason they decline. Good decision, as usual, by Coach Bowden.
That's one way to get somebody to play.
Message you call.
Actually making sure Matvey knows what's in store. Takes reverse to him, and nobody is fooled on the run straight up the middle by Joe Burns. Least of all, the nose guard, Jeff Womble.
But what they've been doing is bringing a receiver, Glover or Campbell, in motion and either handing it to him or faking it to him and handing it to the tailback Burns, and that time he had the wrong guy in there, so he had to run, tell him what to do, and Matvey just turned and looked at him. The ball was snapped. He just turned and stared at the play. He enjoyed the play, though.
So another Seminole timeout. Tomorrow night, Alex Van Pelt looking to lead the Bills to their 2nd consecutive victory as they visit Jeff Garcia, Garrison Hurst with the San Francisco 49ers, who need a win to keep pace with division-leading St. Louis. Our coverage begins with NFL Primetime presented by Miller Lite at 7:30. Jeff Garcia has surpassed the numbers at a similar stage in their careers of Joe Montana and Steve Young.
You know, he was, and San Francisco, by the way, one of those 8-2 teams out there, tied with St. Louis in the NFC West, and he's the guy playing out in the Canadian Football League. Only Bill Walsh is really someone who was in his corner, wanted to give him a shot, but that's a pretty good guy that wants to give you a shot. You know you're going to get one if Bill Walsh is in your corner.
Yeah, and if Bill Walsh believes in you, you might be pretty good.
Yeah.
So Florida State hoping to stop a 3rd and 10 now. There's still one more timeout. and 37 seconds. Godsey chased out of the shotgun. Bad wheel and all, keeping for the first down to the 27-yard line for 11 yards.
George Godsey is really, really heady and a bright football player. Doesn't get a whole lot of help from his friends here. There's penetration. He's forced out by Alonzo Jackson, number 48, the right end, but Jackson also loses contain. He sees that, bolts for the first down.
So we'll see if Georgia Tech tries a heave with 14 seconds to go. Unlikely. Burns carries to the 34 on the last play of the first half. And Georgia Tech outgaining the Florida State offense, looking for their first victory ever over Florida State in ACC play. The only team they trail in the ACC in a career series. Godsey doing most of the good work through the air, but Ricks only 5 of 12, however, has run the ball extremely well. It's 10-7 at the half. We send it to Brian Kenny.
Dave, thank you very much. Rodney Gilmore here with me. We're going to get to Virginia Tech and Miami and just how close that was. But first, Army and Navy, the 102nd meeting. Navy trying to avoid a winless season. President Bush there, and the coin toss, Navy would win that. They wouldn't need much else. Ardell Daniels, a freshman for Army, cutting all the way back. Good camera angle. Daniels, 131 yards in the game. Rodney had 81 yards all year.
Yeah, he got a little banged up during this ball game, but he was on the field enough to give them enough of a rushing attack to be strong in this ball game.
Here with a 16-3 lead, Army opening up the second half with this in style. Omari Thompson, 96 yards, the longest return in the Army-Navy rivalry since 1901. 23-3. Army on sides of West Point. General Schwarzkopf fired up there as Army beats Navy 26-17. Rodney, I've been saying this. Rick Lance takes over for Charlie Weatherby mid-season. Well, what are you going to do when you change coaches in midstream here?
Well, apparently not very much. No. They are looking for a coach, and hopefully they will find one in the next week or two.
Navy a winless for the first time since 1948 as Army gets the win to go 3-8 on the year. Now, oh, so close. Virginia Tech and Miami Hurricanes try to get to the Rose Bowl. Highlights when we come back.
Heisman Day at noon, Saturday, December 8th, only on ESPN Classic.
It's different down here. In the game. Rated E for everyone.
In a world of uncertainty, there will always be a need for those proud few who can prove they are a world apart. Maybe you can be one of us, the few, the proud, the Marines.
What if an internet provider asked you to draw from your imagination to envision taking your internet experience from everyday to extraordinary? You'd create AT&T WorldNet Service Plus. First, you'd start with the fastest logons and better connections. Then you'd add the latest features, like instant messaging and chat. Not to mention a cutting-edge feature like video email, so people can see and hear you every time you send a message. Get it all from the provider-rated Best ISP by PC World. Call now for AT&T WorldNet Service Plus at just $16.95 a month. That's nearly 30% less than AOL. So call 1-800-WorldNet today and switch to AT&T WorldNet Service Plus. It's drawing lots of attention. Sign up for AT&T WorldNet Service Plus before December 15th for your chance to win a trip to see the Rose Bowl.
Welcome to Sports Center in-game. Time for the Saturn Halftime Report.
One of the big games of the day, of course, Miami and Virginia Tech. Larry Coker looking for a national title in his first year as a head coach. That's not counting, of course, his 22 years as an assistant coach at the college level and his 6 years as a head coach at the high school level. You wondered, would this be an easy game against Virginia Tech? The type of easy games that Miami has been having of late, Syracuse and other teams. But here, Grant Knoll, Jared Ferguson, huge gain after a block.
Head in this game. And on Florida State's side, not really controlling the ball, as we just said with time of possession. Well, looks like they're looking for the big play, and right now it's more Ricks by his leg. Florida State used to that big play. Not happening right now. Tough for them to rely on that. They need sustained drives.
The ESPN game crack in the first half.
Joe Burns, the running back for Georgia Tech. Not a lot of yards, only 56, but timely for big first downs.
Ricks 5 of 12 for 94 yards passing, but he has 57 yards rushing. That has been the damage that will set up the short pass.
Mostly short stuff for Godzik. This one started short, ended up going 60 to Burns. Down to the one, it set up his subsequent touchdown run. Spirits still high here in Tallahassee as Florida State will get the second half kickoff.
That little fella has entertained us for about the last 10 minutes. I mean, he has got it. He's got the feel of this whole rhythm of this place. I don't know.
Can we just watch him and not really pay that much attention
about
to the game?
14, 15 years, maybe have some shoulder pads on him.
Tooth Fairy be visiting if he hadn't already.
Thorpe will take a knee. Earlier, Michelle spoke with Georgia Tech's head coach, George O'Leary.
George O'Leary, you managed to control the ball in most of the first half. Can you continue to do that the rest of the game?
Well, I think consistency is going to be the key. We have to establish more of the run game and take the passes that they're giving us and defensively tackle a little bit better and get a little more heat on Ricks and obviously play the long ball better. So we just got to play a better second half and continue to have a good special teams game.
George O'Leary, thank you.
So, Florida State from their 20. Ricks floating off the side and a terrific over-the-shoulder catch by Acrus Bell. Good for a gain of 20.
Acrus Bell on Marvius Hester against the two deep. Hester's shadowing him man for man. The safety's on his way over, and the throw is simply perfect before Corey Collins can arrive. Nice throw and catch.
Acrus' final home game. Former walk-on out of Jacksonville. And one play into the second half, Chris Ricks has to call timeout. All of 11 seconds expired, but they've got something to talk about, trailing 10-7.
My official title is Touchdown Boogie Coordinator. Now, to me, it's not the end zone. It's the groove zone. Move those hips. Move it. I'm hard on my guys because it takes commitment. There you're getting it. There you're getting it. Scoring is just a way to get them into the end zone. Strike a pose, baby. Then, good job. It's showtime.
Bud Light celebrates those who like to celebrate.
Winning isn't everything. Shaking a righteous booty, that is.
With quality tools from Delta and your own brand of inspiration, you can build most anything, including memories. Delta's table saw, scroll saw, and compound miter saw, specially priced for the holiday season.
Trying to save a little time this holiday season? Then come to Best Buy, where you'll find something fun for everyone on your list, all in one place. Best Buy, this holiday, turn on the fun.
I want to be like Buddy Lee and help out everyone I see. I'd help my neighbors with Tai Chi like Buddy Lee. But if I had any sense in me, I would not be Buddy Lee. Lee Dungarees can't bust 'em.
Well, after the sudden timeout, Chris Ricks now ready, 1st and 10 from the 40. First play went for 20 to Bell. Again out of the eye. And again, the Georgia Tech defense causing Ricks to reconsider. Play clock down to 6. And the short is almost intercepted. It was in Jeremy Myers' hands. Couldn't hang on.
Well, they bluffed the blitz, Bill. Yeah, bluffed the blitz and dropped out. They pulled one on the young quarterback, and Jeremy Myers is just sick with himself. It worked. It was a nice call. Ted Root, defensive coordinator, baited Ricks into the throw that he wanted and couldn't hang on. And here we go again. Now let's see if Georgia Tech's going to bail out again.
On the ground, and maybe getting a couple, is Maddox. Down to Michelle.
Dave, I spent halftime in the Florida State locker room, and the position that Bobby Bowden chastised most with the offensive lineman. He said, we can't even run the ball. We've got the best athletes in the country on this line, and we can't run the ball because you're just too sweet. He said, I don't like what I see. 10-7, I don't like what I see.
Next year, they fully expect this line to be the best in the country, but obviously still works in progress. 4 juniors and a redshirt freshman across that front on 3rd and 7. Ricks, effective keeping it in the first half, is going to run out of room here, short of the first down at the 46-yard line.
And you wonder, are they going to have a spy? And we talked to Ted Root, the D coordinator, yesterday, and he said, if we end up spying Ricks, and they may get to that position because he's running so well, who are they going to do it with? Certainly they're not going to do it with a lineman. He'll outrun a lineman, so they're going to have to pick somebody if, in fact, they choose to spy him.
Mike, tell everybody what a spy is.
A spy is when you're... I'll tell it after the punt.
Nose up, wobbler by Gwaltney. And they're doing a good job preventing much damage on the returns by Kelly Rhino.
A spy now is one of the defenders. If it's a pass, his job is to not let the quarterback run. He will just sit there at the line of scrimmage and mirror the quarterback. That's his responsibility. If the quarterback takes off, he can't let him go. Why you're not going to use a lineman? Because Ricks runs a 4.40. The lineman is just going to wave at him as he blows by him and goes down the field. So it will be a linebacker who eventually would spy on Ricks if Ted Root chooses to go that route.
Looks like he might need to.
Georgia Tech starts from the 19. Their first possession of the second half. Another fake reverse. Run up the middle by Burns. Again, a familiar sight over major sporting events for more than 75 years. Look at that view. Sunset from Tallahassee. This courtesy of Goodyear and its fleet of blimps. Pictures from on the wings of Goodyear. The stars and stripes today above Doak Campbell Stadium. No gain for Joe Burns. 2nd and 10. And Godsey throwing that one right into the hands of Kendall Pope. So we're even. Each defense has had an interception gift wrapped, and they didn't accept it.
Let me make a prediction.
Yeah.
The game plan for spring practice this year will be catching drills for all defenders. We've actually had 4 or 5 balls today that would have been really vertical interceptions for both teams, and nobody's been able to hang on.
On 3rd and 10 over the middle. Jonathan Smith short of the first. They've been very conservative on 3rd and long. A lot of patterns that aren't even anywhere close to the first down markers, and the indication will go against Georgia Tech.
And this is kind of coming full circle. The reason it was 3rd and 10, you had the incompletion on 2nd down, but on 1st down they ran the ball and got nothing.
Holding on the offense. Finley is declined. 4th down.
Go back to the beginning of the game when I talked about the trend and said George O'Leary said we have to be able to run the ball better to set everything else up. He was just with Michelle at halftime, said we've got to run the ball better. They're not successful at doing that, and it's setting them up in bad situations to throw a 5-yard route when it's 3rd and 10.
Both punters been superb today. Take a look at the hang time. We're looking for 4.5 or better.
Van Dyke, not his best effort. Robinson takes this one on the run from the 40 and is slung out at the 48-yard line by Kerry Watkins. And now, first Morehouse on that punt it was.
Yeah, and he shanked it with a 3.5.
The Aflac trivia question. Who was the Florida State head coach before Bobby Bowden? Can anybody remember that far back?
I can.
1976.
I can.
I think I truly want to give you the Aflac question here. Let's get it right here.
You can't even work that thing.
I could do it. I didn't hear it very well.
He's got a duck up here.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Aflac duck. Whether you could hear it or not.
Checking again.
Ricks at the 47. Toss sweep for Greg Jones. Neither team much in the running game tonight. What's up with Tennessee and Florida, Brian?
Well, Dave, Tennessee, of course, jumping out to a 14-0 lead. We had that for you at the half. Gators coming back. Rex Grossman airs this out, perfectly placed. Rashay Caldwell at the 1, set up a touchdown plunge by Grossman. 14-7 now in the second quarter. Notre Dame has the lead on Purdue in the second quarter at 7-3 there, Dave.
Here it is. No matter what happens, won't be enough to save Bob Davies' job. Short toss to Thorpe. Hit immediately by Marvius Hester is Crafonzo Thorpe, the true freshman from here in Tallahassee.
And a really good play by Hester. They jumped on him last week, burned him, and the old thing about defensive backs being required to have very short memories. You got to put that out of your mind and keep playing aggressive football rather than hanging back and being afraid to make a tackle. Nice play by Hester.
Sets up 3rd and 4. Seminoles go 2 tight ends with Jones in the backfield. And Ricks looking for the deep out. Terrific job by Sam hanging on as he got belted by Collins. It's 19 yards, and that is some concentration for another true freshman. He's out of Buford, Georgia.
Boy, seeing that whole play took a while, and Corey Collins, the safety, got over there a little late. This has taken a long time for the ball to get there. Ricardo Wimbush on the cover, but Collins coming over a little late.
DK Sam, who has the Florida State touchdown. Even their only lead at 7-3 late in the first half. So now they reach the 28. And a little wary of the play clock as Ricks finally gets the snap in time over the middle and overthrowing A. Bruce Bell.
Boy, and that time, Corey Collins again at safety. Bell got behind him. Looks like he's just reacting a little slow back there, Bill, right now, because if the ball was down, that was going to be a touchdown. Again, here's Collins. Not deep enough. That throw on the money, that could be 6.
That's right. Either Hester's got to get inside position and play him himself, or expect inside help from his safeties, and he's not getting it. So there's something that's not coordinated.
Thorpe back in, and at the bottom of your screen, Walker wide right. Huge hole here for Jones. Greg Jones slams his way to the 12. Best run by anybody other than Ricks today, 15 yards.
And a really good job by the guys up front. Milford Brown, 54, doing a great job. The right guard just clearing a huge hole. Center Antoine Mirambo and the big guy Greg Jones just pounding, splattering headgears for that 243 pounds of momentum.
Limited against Florida by a sprained neck to just 5 yards on 6 carries. Obviously feeling much better today. And they gave him the 13 first and 10. Play fake. Ricks. Chased by Nick Rogers and finally escorted out of bounds by Greg Gabbert right at the 10.
Well, he's still can gain some yards with his speed getting to the outside. He's
does.
going to be he may be faster than the linebackers. We talked about a spy earlier. He may outrun the linebackers as well.
Well, we're talking about third down conversions. Georgia Tech's about 54.5%. FSU has struggled, but they're doing better because they're doing so much better on first down with things like that. That's a 5-yard run.
Almost every play. Yeah. Seeing Ricks back off, recheck, and barely get the snap in time. Jones tries to cut it back, picks up only a couple.
Jones in the first half, you broke off that 15-yarder, Dave. First half, though, it was reminiscent of the Florida game. The first half of this one, 6 carries for 6 yards until they broke that one off, and that's a big guy you want rumbling downhill, but for the most part, save for that run, he's been bottled up.
As we said, Florida State at 37.5% conversion on third down. That's not very good, but these 3rd and 4s are a lot easier than those 3rd and 11s.
McCray, the fullback, ahead of Jones in the eye. Ricks, look end zone, decides to keep. Did he get in? Touchdown, Chris Ricks on the keeper. Got his helmet knocked almost completely backwards in the process. They're going to have a hard time getting that wedged off his head.
Wow. Reminds me of the many times that I looked out my ear hole.
That is exactly what that is right there. They got to get that chin strap unbuckled. There, they got it off his head now. Well, they may need 2 spies on Chris Ricks. He is just eating them alive.
Well, I sure hope he's okay.
Yep.
Jeremy Myers grabbed that face mask of Ricks and obviously stunned him by spinning it around on him.
Wow. He is a warrior today. Bobby Bowden wanted some people to step up. Who's going to answer the bell when there's really nothing on the line? Mr. Ricks is stepping up.
None the worse. And now Bethea for a 4-point lead. Chris Ricks has a lot of Charlie Ward in him, even as just a redshirt freshman.
You can see that the protection is excellent here. The coverage is as well. So he's going to have to pull it down, and then he becomes a marvelous running back. Look at the spin and into the end zone.
Oh, boy, yes. Myers really got a hold of that face mask.
Yeah, he got away with one.
From your right-hand side of the screen, you see the hand right there.
Now, after all the time it took to get that helmet off, why did we never see a flag?
Boy, you're not kidding. I mean, somebody's helmet doesn't get turned around like that.
How much more evidence do they need?
You got to call that.
Boy, oh boy.
Obviously, they missed it. Can't miss those calls.
Well, they missed it, but they had time to adjust while they're getting the helmet wedged off his head.
Yeah, but what happens in those things, in defense of the officials, if you don't see the whole play,
you're not
allowed to call it. So you look down and see a guy's helmet twisted around. That doesn't necessarily mean his face mask was grabbed, although Myers was grabbing for anything he could to try to keep him out of the end zone.
Luckily, Ricks is okay.
You're right.
Florida State 14-10. 9:06 in the third. The first time since they joined the ACC, the home games here at Bay Campbell Stadium are actually in doubt this year. They've dropped a couple. Campbell to the 22.
Ricks had 57 yards on 5 carries in the first half, and he's certainly picking up right where he was in the first half and taking off. And what I like about the way he runs is when he decides to run, he goes north and south quickly. He makes his mind up, and immediately he's into the positive yard range, not going east and west. He says, I'm going to get the yards, I'm going to put my head down, and I'm going to go. And at 4-4 in the 40, he can get the yards quickly.
Now, Phil Judge is looking right at it.
Yeah, that's it.
No reason that did not draw a flag.
No, not going to work. Reverse. Watkins reversing back. And adds that up. And you get a loss back to the 11. 6 Seminoles around the ball when he reverses his field back. Speed on defense. Florida State has always had it. Watch all the dark shirts around the running back. Count them up right there. Look at the pursuit going on by those guys. Kevin Emanuel ends up with it. Great job of pursuit.
12-yard loss. They were backing off after showing hit. This is no gain. Fired up Florida State defense.
Now, there's a whole different tempo to this Florida State defense in this half. Number 48, Alonzo Jackson, and 91, Jeff Womble on that play. The previous play turned back in by Emanuel. That's 3 of the front 4 already making big plays and with vigor and enthusiasm. Coach Bowden may have the beginnings of what he's been looking for this whole year. His time to Florida State football.
It's the loudest it's been all day for 3rd and 22. And again, Godsey not throwing anywhere near the marker. What's up now with Tennessee, Florida? Brian Kenny will tell us.
Well, Dave, Gators getting back into it after that touchdown we showed you earlier, led to the touchdown here. Casey Clausen to Jason Witten. Loses the football. It's a live ball. Todd Johnson would recover. Gators would get a field goal out of it. Couldn't get in the end zone, but it's now at least 14-10. Oregon still tied up. That's in the second quarter.
Georgia Tech had a punt blocked a week ago. They're in a tough situation right here with a roused FSU team.
And they come after Van Dyke. Bounce fielded at midfield by Robinson. Dominic spins to the 38 of Georgia Tech. Only a 35-yard Dyke punt, 11 on the return. And the Florida State D, led by Darnell Dockett, taking charge here in the 3rd.
This holiday, stay connected to the people who matter most. With the Shared Advantage plan from AT&T Wireless, you get unlimited local calling between plan members. The dad can talk to mom can talk to the kids, and the kids can talk to each other as often as they like. Start with 2 phone lines for $59.99 a month, and add up to 3 more for only $9.99 each. You can also get up to 5 free phones, with nationwide long distance included and plenty of minutes to go around, all for life. Visit AT&TWireless.com today for a gift that will have the whole family talking.
Want to try that Triple Lux?
What the heck? I got supplemental insurance.
What's that?
A Lux?
No, that something insurance.
Even the best insurance doesn't give you cash for things like lost pay and other expenses. This does.
What does?
Aflac. Ask about it at work. This holiday season, the compact Presario 5000 TPC will come bearing gifts, like a free color printer, a $50 instant rebate, and free shipping. Not to mention a powerful Intel Pentium 4 processor and Microsoft Windows XP Home Edition, all for just $849. And you don't even need to travel afar. Call 1-800-331-4120 to buy now. You'll get 1 great PC and 3 great gifts.
College football Saturday. It's the SEC West Championship. Auburn will try to stop Rohan Davey and LSU. Auburn, LSU, 7:45 tonight on ESPN.
Chris Rick's helmet needs a little repair. Still trying to figure out why field judge James Overcash didn't call that. Yep. That face mask penalty that turned him into Reagan from The Exorcist ever so briefly. Yeah. From the 39, Rick floating wide open to Fonzo Thorpe, touchdown with the flag down. There's a flag. I think we're going to get holding Florida State and bring it back.
Well, it looked pretty. Obviously a blown coverage by Georgia Tech. Jeremy Myers and Curtis Young looking at each other.
On the offense, 10 yards, previous spot, repeat first down.
It looks like to us that Ray Willis, number 77, the young offensive tackle, forced into action as a redshirt freshman. may be the offender. He's certainly got his hand outside. He's got a hold of that shirt. I have seen worse, but Greg Gathers forced a very fortunate penalty on Willis, the split side tackle.
Get it 20 to 14 up, first and 20. And the 49 of Georgia Tech. Ricks again looking deep. There's the scramble, and not quite as aggressive on that one as Daryl Smith had him down to Michelle.
Well, Dave, earlier this week in a team meeting, George O'Leary asked his team, hey, how many of you have ever been hungry? And about 6 of them raised their hand. He said, how many of you have ever been starving? And about 5 of them raised their hands. And he said, really, has any of you ever crawled 2 miles on your stomach for a hamburger? It's one thing to be hungry. It's another to be starving. At key moments in the game, we have to be starving. This is a key moment, Bill.
Indeed it is. We'll see if they're starving, hungry, or got the worms. What? The worms. You can't get up first downs in situations like this.
Rick Jim can't find anybody open. Chased by Gathers and slides at the 47.
Nice job by the Georgia Tech secondary. That's a covered sack. The speedy quarterback starts outside, and he's contained. Oh, yeah. Nice job right there. Marvius Hester shadowing his man. Gathers at 55, a little bit slow getting up, but you saw some speed out of the white shirt running down Ricks that time, not allowing him to get north and south, Mike.
Yeah, Gathers got taken out, unfortunately, by his own guy coming up to make the tackle.
So, here's a 3rd and 18.
What are the odds they actually throw it downfield, Dave?
I'm going to try, I think. Yep, Ricks again looking. Finally spotting Walker. Yes! Catch inside the 5. Carries it in. Touchdown. "47 yards. Javon Walker in his final home game makes one for the highlight film.
Thought by many to be the top receiver in the nation, his top senior receiver in the nation this year. He ran right through double coverage to make the catch for the touch. Inexcusable.
Bethea makes it 21-10, Florida State. Javon Walker out of Lafayette, Louisiana, who has replaced Robert Morgan all year, out with a knee injury. 6'3", needed every bit of it to grab it and carry Hester into the end zone. And Florida State in control now.
I'm going to make you happy. I guarantee it.
Team Nissan of Marietta made me happy.
Team Nissan of Marietta made me happy. Team Nissan of Marietta made us happy.
Team Nissan of Marietta made me happy. Team Nissan of Marietta made me happy.
Team Nissan of Marietta made us happy. I told you so. We're going to make you happy. I guarantee it.
Bill, where does all the money go? Does your paycheck run out before the month does? The Cash Store can help you. At the Cash Store, you can get the money you need and get it fast. With our 30-day no-interest title pawn or our convenient cash till payday, get the money you need when you need it. The Cash Store also offers prepaid phone service. 2 locations in Rome, Shorter Avenue and North Broad Street. Let the Cash Store help you today.
Last week on Sunday NFL Countdown.
Fun to block when you get the bus rumbling behind you.
This week, get up close with the Ravens' top motivator, Shannon Sharp. Herman Edwards' Stingy D has pushed the Jets to #1 in the AFC East.
You have a good defense, you can score some points.
And it's all in the grip. See how the NFL's top quarterbacks handle the ball. Plus, previews from all around the league. Get all your NFL news and pregame analysis first with Sunday NFL Countdown, beginning 11 a.m. Sunday on ESPN.
Florida State, in just 3 play scores, took some patience. Ricks first thought he had a touchdown pass to Thorpe, called back for holding, then sailed one to Walker, 47 yards over the middle for an 11-point lead. And Penn 7. Florida State storming back with back-to-back touchdowns. 4:45 in the third. And the Bethea kick returned by Campbell. A little bit of room and blockers, and Campbell with his best return of the night reaches the 34. Down to Michelle.
Well, Dave, Darnell Dockett, the defender for Florida State, involved, in fact, a key figure in that recent controversy, accused of twisting Florida's Ernest Graham's knee at the bottom of a pile. And the running back, Graham, out for a few weeks, and he's accused, or he has threatened to sue Dockett. If you look at the tape on Dockett's hands today, right hand says not, left hand says guilty.
What if you were sued during your playing career?
I would laugh at the person suing me.
Will Glover swings away from the first coverage. That's enough for a first. 11 yards.
Here's the big man.
There's his hands. Not
making this statement. He got national TV. We got B-Mac with a camera, or John Schuppener, one of our guys.
And he's been holding his hands up like that to the crowd all throughout the game, guys. That's how we got that terrific shot. He's been doing it all game long.
Something tells me he won't be on the court docket anytime soon.
No.
44-yard line. Godsey finally heaving one deep. And overthrown, intended for Campbell.
So can Mr. Dockett take care of business on the field when it counts? In this game, you got to say yes. The big man lines up normally on the outside shoulder of the guard, and he has been all over the football field, pursuing, penetrating, making big plays, leaping over the top in a short yardage situation to stop what appeared to be a sure touchdown. He's been the difference on defense for his team today. He is guilty of that.
First team All-ACC as a sophomore. 2nd and 10. Joe Burns to the 47. Tackled there by Hudson.
Sorry, Dave. He came into the night with 17 tackles behind the line, 4 tonight as a 21 now. And he is that penetrating type of defensive lineman. The latest in the line had been Corey Simon, who's been out a couple of years. The big man now with the Philadelphia Eagles doing a fantastic job of hitting gaps and playing in the opponent's backfield.
Here's a 3rd and 7 for Georgia Tech. Needing to stem this Florida State tide, they throw it short again to Jonathan Smith. And Bill, if you're a Georgia Tech fan, isn't that frustrating you to see him throw time after time, not even close to what they need for the first down?
Well, I understand the reasoning by Bill O'Brien that he's expecting these guys to catch the ball and run for first downs, but the Georgia Tech fans are, in fact, frustrated about some of the things that are happening like that. Against this kind of coverage, you're not going to catch it and run for first because they're too fast.
But time after time, that's what they tried. Dan Dyke. Robinson comes up, calls for the fair catch at the 15. And what's up now with Florida and Tennessee, Brian Kemp?
Vol still having problems here, Dave. Casey Clausen going back. We had a fumble in the previous possession. Clausen bobbled, picked off, so it's tipped up in the air. Mike Nattiel grabs this, gets him within striking distance. With the very next play, Rex Grossman to Jabbar Gaffney. Plenty of time into the end zone. 17-14 Gators have the lead.
Sophomore or no? Heisman? Grossman?
You know what? You have to at some point you have to throw out what grade they're in, what class they're in, and if they're the best player, they're the best player.
Well, Greg Jones trying to get wide. There's nothing up the middle. There's even less around the right end. Tonight on ABC, the surprising Colorado Buffaloes looking to continue their upset ways, tackling the Texas Longhorns, champions of the South, in the Big 12 championship game presented by Dr. Pepper. Texas with a win and some help, and they almost got it from Virginia Tech today. Still could find themselves in the Rose Bowl, the Big 12 title game, 8 Eastern from Texas Stadium on ABC.
Tech with the timeout.
2:39 to go in the third when we come back to Tallahassee.
The question is, what is it? This is the Craftsman strap wrench, only from Sears. It's one of the most flexible, versatile, indispensable tools anywhere. And no matter who you are, in your hands it's powerful. Just slip the strap in place, tighten, and turn. Couldn't be easier. Gives you a grip on odd shapes and sizes. Works just as well to tighten, too. Call now and get this two-piece Craftsman strap wrench set for just $19.99. Nothing works better on fine finishes. Use it on brass fixtures. Chrome. Use it indoors, outdoors, in the garage, in the kitchen. The strap wrench has a heavy-duty reinforced strap that's virtually indestructible. And like other Craftsman hand tools, it's guaranteed forever. There's no question. The strap wrench does the job right. Craftsman makes anything possible.
Call now. You'll get both the large and small wrenches for just $19.99. Call 1-800-469-1600.
Here's a gift everyone will want to open. The compact Presario 1700T notebook with a laser-sharp screen, hot swappable drives, and a powerful Intel Pentium 3 processor, all tucked in one neat little package, which will be shipped free, courtesy of a couple of reindeer we know. It's just $12.49. So give us a jingle at 1-888-269-4609 to buy now and receive a $50 instant rebate plus free shipping. Hurry while there's still room on the sleigh.
18th meeting between Georgia Tech and Florida State. Shows a 9-7 advantage with one tie. An 11-point lead late in the third quarter. Second down and 11 for the Noles. They're on 14. Sets up the screen to William McRae, the fullback. Couple of blockers out in front. He carries for the first down to the 29, led by Montre Holland, gain of 15.
It's a big one, Bill. It's a big one on the loose.
It's a big one on the loose, but a big one made a real bad mistake. It was number 54, Milford Brown. Milford, a junior college transfer, hadn't sort of got the picture.
On the offense.
It's a block in the back.
10 yards from the spot of the foul. Receive second down.
Darrell Smith was very frustrated because he had already been knocked down. So Darrell jumps up, and here comes Mr. Brown and nails him in the back. Not the smartest block we've seen all night, and brings back the nice gain by McRae.
Milford Jr., transfer from East Mississippi Junior College. He races a nice screen pass to McRae. Makes it 2nd and 15 from the 10. Jones, the most effective quarterback. Boy, he drags tacklers, doesn't he? Took a pile about an extra 5 yards, close to the first down that time.
Boy, that is a way to run the ball, Bill.
Shades of last week for Georgia Tech people, players and fans. This is a bad-looking thing here. Getting knocked off the ball, unable to bring a big back down, ripping through tackles, arms reaching out, nobody really putting a hat across the bow and knocking him back. That's what you have to do when a big back gets on the loose.
He outweighs Georgia Tech linebackers, though.
Doesn't matter. You still got to tackle him.
40 yards down, 11 carries for Jones. He picked up the first down. Now they'll try him again off the left side. And again, from the time he's first hit to the time he's brought down finally by Alfred Malone, there's about 4 extra yards in there. Let's answer our Aflac trivia question. And again, testing your memory, the Florida State coach before Bobby Bowden took over this job in 1976. Anybody remember that far back?
Bill, that's a long time ago, so you're going to have to answer this one.
Yes, I know the answer. Am I allowed to say? Oh, there it is. Darrell Mudra, who used to sit in the press box, and the folks just didn't like that down south or anywhere else. But a heck of a coach. The guy had a great career.
He's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Very bright.
Second down run, only about 1 this time for Jones. And the tackle by Malone. Yeah, Mudra did some things in his career, although not here at Tallahassee in those 2 years. Yeah. But, you know, Florida State before Bowden, the 3 previous years, 0-11, 1-10, 3-8.
They've been a little better.
And from that foundation, since he got here, he turns it into 14 straight 10-win seasons before this year, ending the streak. All finishing in the top 5. Almost a John Wooden-like streak. Closest thing you can find to what the Wizard of Westwood did at UCLA. Nicely delivered. On the cut by Javon Walker at midfield. 19 yards.
That ball was in the air before Walker made his cut. What a great job by Ricks. Walker getting up a little slow there. Of course, they have to take the dirt and grass out of his face mask. Watch the timing route, fake, throw. Look, he's not even turned, and the ball right on the mark. What a fantastic throw by Ricks.
After Wenke left, after starting for 3 years, most of the question marks coming to the season were about Chris Ricks. They have turned into exclamation points looking forward to his sophomore year. End of the third.
Heisman Day at noon, Saturday, December 8th, only on ESPN Classic.
One blustery autumn Sunday, two warriors hunkered down in the fury of battle.
For the win! Interception.
With one crushing blow, momentum turned. As the stalwart Viking mounted a final aerial assault, the battered warrior could only watch his hopes of victory vanish. And in defeat, learned dignity and grace.
NFL 2K2. Rated E for everyone.
The new Dremel cordless rotary tool with 9.6 volts of power and over 150 available accessories. It's so versatile, you just can't live without it.
In a world of uncertainty, there will always be a need for those proud few who can prove they are a world apart. Maybe you can be one of us, the few, the proud, the Marines.
Welcome to United Online. Joining together Net Zero, Juno, and millions of people who have stopped paying high internet bills. Now you could have great connection, fast page loads, instant message compatibility, and at only $9.95, it's less than half the price of AOL. There's never been a better time to switch. Call 877 only $9.95 or visit netzero.net or juno.com. Additional phone charges may apply.
Folks ask me, George, how do you stay in such shape? Well, I'm into physical things now, like snowboarding. On the new Xbox from CompUSA. The graphics are so real. It feels like you're part of the action. Woo! Yeah, baby! Yeah. Tree. Woo! Wide load coming through. Whew. I need a nap.
CompUSA, where America buys technology. Now, buy the Xbox at CompUSA and get an airline companion ticket free.
Brian Piccolo.
I'm going to blow you out of the line on it.
Gail Sayers. 2 players. 1 goal. Never give up. Brian Song, Sunday, 7/6 Central on ABC.
A little bit of a turnaround in that third quarter. Florida State outgained Georgia Tech 172-21. And they begin the fourth at midfield with a first down and a 21-10 lead. Dave Barnett with Bill Curry, Mike Golick, Michelle Tafoya. Tallahassee. Most effective runner, other than Ricks, Greg Jones. And again, good yardage after the contact pickup for 4. Between periods, Michelle spoke with Bobby Bowden.
Bobby Bowden, at halftime, your complaint with the team was the offensive line was too sweet. Have they gotten it sour enough for you?
Well, they're doing a little bit better now. I just hope we can do it for 30 more minutes. Yeah, we way too timid first half.
What about defensively?
Defense only gave up 1 play the first half. That was that long fullback run, you know. So they've done pretty well. If they can, we can stop the big play, you know, we can win.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, they stopped the big play and even the little plays in the third quarter. Ricks, again, on target with the out. Thorpe took a knee, but by that time had the marker, and inside the 40, another first down.
You know, guys, we've been talking about Ricks and his running. Before that throw, he had thrown for 207 yards already. He came into tonight 2,515 yards. He's the first Florida State quarterback that has not been a junior or a senior that has thrown for over 2,500 yards. So we've been praising the leg run tonight, but his passing, he's setting some nice standards, and they're used to having young quarterbacks be successful here at Florida State.
And Unlike the first half, they've dominated possession. This is the 9th play of this drive, and it's going to come after timeout, and Ricks is not happy about having to call this one. This is their second. Just underway in the 4th.
Sorry, Grandma.
Ace Combat 4, rated E for everyone.
Because life does not move in a straight line, Sony creates personal computers that are as dynamic as you are. VAIO R505 notebooks with Intel Pentium 3 processors are designed to accomplish your work, inspire your play, and keep you connected. Technology is so flexible, it adapts to your life. The R505JL comes with a detachable slim dock docking station with DVD-ROM. Call 1-866-879-VAIO. Order your R505JL with Intel Pentium 3 processor for just $1599.99, and the DVD slim dock station is included at no extra cost, a $400 value. Order direct and get a free Epson color inkjet printer. So call 1-866-879-VAIO or visit our website. Go where life takes you. Sony VAIO R505JL.
Comes in handy, huh? It's a lifesaver. We're looking for a new VP of our Northeast operations. Stop by my office later. Hey, Kevin, aren't you the VP of Northeast operations?
Imagine what the Journal could do for you. Get 8 weeks of the Journal for just 38 cents a day, a 50% savings. Call 800-228-6605. That's 800-228-6605.
Sometimes you don't necessarily have to watch the game to have a good time.
Absolutely not.
Just bring a friend. Ricks, with 11 seconds gone in the 3rd quarter, had to call a timeout. With a minute and 11 gone in the 4th, had to call their second. And the Georgia Tech defense giving him a lot to read and adjust to with the play clock down under 1. He finally gets the snap. And the handoff to Jones. Our ESPN game track through 3 quarters. Georgia Tech's 1,000-yard rusher, Joe Burns, only 18 carries, 38 yards, but 60 on this catch and run to set up his 1-yard touchdown.
Chris Ricks, not only successful running and throwing today, but successful at the line of scrimmage with his checks.
Javon Walker with a nice touchdown reception here. He has 3 receptions for 114 yards. Guys, he needed 121 yards tonight. He needs 7 more receiving yards to be the 9th Florida State receiver to go over 1,000 yards in the season. So another short pass, and he's a reception, and he's there.
Ricks feeling heat, steps up. And for once, they don't let him get away. Let him just beyond the line of scrimmage. Tony Hargrove. And a little bit slow getting up.
Yeah, really good job by Nick Rogers, number 38, the right defensive end. He's the one that forced the issue here. He's going to come from up here, come up to the outside. Ricks feels him coming. He's being held at the same time. He has to go up inside. No place to go this time because, Mike, they did what you said earlier and stayed in their rush lane.
Ricks has come to the sideline for at least this play, and Adrian McPherson, true freshman from Bradenton, Florida, who has played in 8 games, sees his first action in this.
Better hurry, the clock's running out.
McPherson right to the air, and a jump ball is caught by Sam at the 5. Wow. Flag is down 29 yards. There was a lot of pushing and shoving going on.
Well, that guy is the first ever Mr. Football and Mr. Basketball in the state of Florida. And he comes in the game and you figure, well, they'll let him hand it off.
Pass interference on the defense. Friendly is declined. First down.
So what does he do? By golly, Jeff Bowden, offensive coordinator, says, let's put it up for a jump ball. Take the hit, put the ball up, see if you can't beat Marvius Hester on a deep ball, and Mr. Sam does just that and gets the flag as well.
Yeah, coming over the back is Hester. Clearly an interference. That sometimes will happen on an underthrown ball. It turns out to be coming back for a jump ball.
Ricks just out for that one play. First and goal at the 5. Option keeper down to the 2. Arizona and UCLA out west. Brian Ketting.
Well, Dave, both of these teams coming in on 4-game losing streaks, Arizona State and the Bruins. Bruins 6-4. Trying to get somebody looking at him in a bowl play. Here, Scott McEwen puts this up to Greg Bragg. Very deep. 63 yards for the touchdown. It's 21-7 Bruins.
UCLA going from hoping to play the national title game in their own stadium to hoping to get a bowl game anywhere.
I have never seen a team go into reverse as fast as they did from 6-0.
From the 2, Chad Mader in motion. McCray taking it in off left tackle, touchdown.
How about this stat, guys? That's McCray's 16th rushing touchdown of his career. Now, every single one of them has been 3 yards or less. He's not breaking out the long ones for scores, but you get around the goal line, and he's going to put it over the end zone.
Well, he's going to start saying, now, Coach, you hand it to me at midfield. I'll get it in from there, too.
Yep.
5th touchdown this year. His longest run of the year was all of 9 yards. But he does what they call on him to do. Bethea adds the extra point, and Florida State now has run off 21 unanswered points. And McCray, in his final home game, senior from Jacksonville, puts him up 18 with 11-18 remaining.
Anytime you see a man go in virtually untouched, then you know the big guys up front are getting the job done. Florida State offensive line, Todd Williams, number 79, coming off right there, staying in control, standing his man up. That was the key block, allowing McCray to make his normal 3-yard run. That is not what Ted Ruth teaches. Those guys have got to keep those pads down to play Ruth-type defense. It's not happening here in the second half. Florida State is taking command of this football game.
And Dave, you've been talking about how Georgia Tech is really not going after some plays, and some of them certainly is Florida State taking that away, but they certainly are going to have to start getting it downfield a little more, taking the chances to get it downfield.
Well, you could look at Florida State being so bold, and you'd say making even unwise decisions to throw through coverage and throw jump balls, but that's Florida State's offense. And Georgia Tech, in the situation they're in, is going to have to start matching their boldness, or this thing's going to continue to be out of hand for them.
Yep, 3 scores down, 11-18 to go. They've got to change the point. Not working now. Very high short kick. Taking it on the run. Campbell has been close to busting a big one a couple of times, and Claudius Osei bringing him down after a return of 20. College Football Saturday continues here on ESPN and on ESPN2, 7:45 here on ESPN. Auburn and LSU in Baton Rouge for the SEC West Championship and a trip to meet either Florida or Tennessee in the SEC title game. 8 o'clock on ESPN2. 7th-ranked BYU still with some long-shot hopes for a BCS berth, and they've got Mississippi State in Starkville to battle tonight. Godsey throwing underneath for Glover, and Will Glover, his high school teammate. One more year for Glover, a junior out of Tampa, 19 yards down to the 43.
A little different route there coming across, and one of those where you can catch and continue to run. That's what Glover has done. He's got some speed. He was able to bust between the linebackers after the catch. Finally get some yardage downfield.
That's what they've been hoping for, Dave, with those short throws. Something like that.
Now we'll see if there's more where that came from. Swing pass, hurried, intended for Burns, and it's incomplete. Hurried because of pressure by Boulware on a blitz.
Boulware was a high school receiver, younger brother of Peter Boulware. We've already noted that. And there was a question as to whether he was going to be a receiver or a linebacker, but he's bulked up, but he still runs like a receiver. There was a hot read, and he got there so quickly that Gotze couldn't throw accurately on his swing read.
This year changed his number from 57 to Peters 58. Gotze again pressured, but gets this one off, and will they say trapped? It was incomplete.
Boy, and I tell you what, for a team that came into the night with 14 sacks, they're starting to get a little pressure on Mr. Gotze. That time, it was Alonzo Jackson coming from the bottom of the screen. Nice little arm over move on Nat Dorsey, the true freshman all-ACC player, just 18 years old. Mr. Jackson, the senior, said, I'm going to show the youngster a thing or two. Or the junior, I'm sorry, Alonzo is a junior.
This year, all we've shown is glimmers and glimpses of a great defense, and tonight, time to shine. And now they are on third down, same stuff, a 2-yard completion to Glover.
Now there's no rationale, Dave, to defend those kinds of throws in this kind of scenario, especially when you have an offense that has the capacity to stretch the field vertically.
What else, unless they fake a punt here, as you watch more pressure by Jackson.
He kept him up on his feet.
Unless they fake a punt, down 18, 10 minutes. Aren't you in 4-down territory?
Going for it here. I thought the same thing, Dave.
They don't fake it. Well, you got to force a turnover, and down that one if you want, and that part of the picture works exactly the way they hoped. Killing that one. Watkins there to down it at the 1.
Running a small business is all about pursuing a dream, making your mark, finding new ways to get things done. Sprint understands, and they have some new ways to help your business succeed, like data services backed by guarantees. They call it the Sprint Small Business Promise. It says that their data services will be among the most reliable in the business. So reliable, in fact, that if the Sprint network goes down, even for a minute, you'll get 3 days of service free. Guaranteed. In short, it says that Sprint will be there for you 24/7, with data services designed specifically for small business and backed by unsurpassed guarantees. For your guarantees, call 1-800-748-6408.
Do it by December 31st, and they'll throw in a Cisco router worth $3,400.
So go on, invent a new product, change an entire industry, shake up the world. Just know that Sprint has you covered. Guaranteed.
College football Saturday. It's the SEC West Championship. Auburn will try to stop Rohan Davey and LSU. Auburn, LSU, 7:45 tonight on ESPN.
Discover the amazing training secrets of Baseball World's dynamic practice organization video, featuring professional scout and instructor Tommy Nansky and his famous step-by-step building block approach to athletic training. These are the same techniques that have produced Baseball World's back-to-back-to-back AAU national championship teams. Parents, players, and coaches are amazed at the rapid improvement of students using these principles, enhancing arm strength, running speed, quickness, and agility. Dynamic practice organization works for all ages and levels of ability and makes a great gift too. Order now.
Again tonight, our overhead shots courtesy of the Goodyear Blimp Stars and Stripes. And at the controls, we thank Captain Larry Chambers from Lighthouse Point, Florida.
Watch out Marvius Hester right here. Florida State would not hesitate to put it up deep from down here.
That's 41-yard punt down at the 1.
Hi, everybody. Brian Kenny here in our ESPN studios. Evidently, we're having some problems with our transmission. We'll try to get you back to Georgia Tech and Florida State as soon as we can. Let's check out a few scores while we're here. We have this opportunity. We'll get you up to date. These are the games that Rodney and I are sitting here watching while we're doing this half. They're at the half right now with Florida and Tennessee. The Gators have come back. They were down 14-0 in this game. but had a fumble, had an interception. They come back 20-14 right now. The Gators are up on top. Notre Dame and Purdue, 7-6 at the half. Bob Davie, of course, under fire. Could be finishing up the season and his career at Notre Dame. Purdue looking for an impressive win here. Try to get a better bowl selection if they could. 7-6 at the half there. Miami, if you're just joining us, had a real scare against Virginia Tech earlier in the day. Virginia Tech also just 2 points away, had a 2-point conversion drop in the final moments of that game. So #1 wins, and again, Florida and Tennessee are right now at the half. Let's get back to our game right now. Georgia Tech and Florida State are going to pick things up once again with Dave Barnett. Dave?
All right, Brian, and we apologize for the technical problem, and hopefully we have it fixed for good. And George O'Leary's defense forces a 3-and-out as Florida State started at their 1, got only 6 yards, and now they have Chance Gwaltney from his own end zone, kicking low to Rhino from the 43. Kelly Rhino, the all-ACC return man, not really allowed to be much of a factor tonight. And Georgia Tech, even with the short return, will start in good shape at the 38-yard line. Rhino, part of a proud Georgia Tech history, which centers around Bill Curry without any question.
Oh,
good grief.
Look at that look on his face. Look at that.
Those looks are looks of confusion.
Look at that. Look at those gams. Woo, Bill.
Wow. Somebody's been talking to Carolyn Curry.
Sliding catch at the 22. Good for 15 yards. Surprise.
Oh, yes.
Where's the shorts tonight, man? You got the long pants on.
They're at home. The shorts will stay at home. Yeah.
Look at what is with that? You're clenching your teeth for some reason. What's going on there?
I had to go to the physics lab right after they took the picture.
Yes, classical probability tests.
They had to find out, didn't they?
Incomplete over the middle. Intended for Burns after the toss to Campbell. Well, what would Georgia Tech be without moments like that in their proud half pass?
Bill Curry. Bill, look at that. Look at. Well, you really did turn it around.
Well, if you don't start too well, then they don't expect too much, and maybe you can get it going. Actually, what happened, I'll tell you the truth, Homer Rice and Dr. Joseph Pettit created such a plan, and Georgia Tech has become a successful athletic program because of those two men, and we all got to be a part of it, and it was wonderful. Kim King, who's here tonight, was a big part of it.
On target, Campbell again.
Now, you did coach against when I was at Notre Dame. What happened in that game? Memory just really is leaving me right now. Why don't you explain to everybody what happened?
Well, if memory is leaving you, then we'll just leave the subject. How's that?
Oh, wait, I think it's coming back to Mike.
Yeah,
I
think we won.
We hammered them before you got there, but after you got there, it was just too much.
3rd and 1, Georgia Tech. Godsey sneaking. Down to the 9, down to Michelle.
Well, you know, Bill never got to this point, but there was recently a published report suggesting that college football coaches who work into their 60s see their winning percentages drop. Well, that's not true in Bowden's case. In fact, if you compare his winning percentage before 60 and after, he's better since his 60th birthday, about 15 points better. And, you know, Bill, you got out just in time for anyone to draw off those numbers on you.
I have to go back when I turn 60.
Georgia Tech from the 10, swing pass down to the 1-yard line. Burns, as he did on their touchdown in the first half, dove at the pylon and came up just short.
Well, go again, mixing it up with the run. They haven't been very successful with the run, yet they still give a semblance of the play action. There's Burns again, been more of a threat as a receiver. You see great camera work there, guys. Did not get over. Ball hit right before he hit the pylon. Great job, Flanagan.
Burns trying to get wide. Backed up. No gain. It'll be 3rd and goal, still from the 1.
Another speed play by Michael Boulware, number 58. When you start to bounce it outside, you better be able to outrun that backer that's coming inside out, and Burns has good speed. Boulware, maybe great speed. There he comes. Boom, right there. Michael Boulware again. Make his big brother proud, wearing his number.
Burns, this time has it. Touchdown. His second of the night. Georgia Tech back in it with still half the fourth quarter to go.
And much better goal line running by Joe Burns. He found out against this defense, I don't think I'm going to be bouncing it outside. I'm going to run right at him and see if I can't ram it in there behind my big guys. And a good job that time by Nat Dorsey, number 70, and Leon Robinson, 74, guard and tackle respectively.
Monje with the extra point. 7:26 to go. Burns with both Georgia Tech touchdowns on 1-yard runs has made it 28-17.
You wonder where the passing, guys, you think about this game, coming into the game, Georgia Tech led the ACC in passing. They had thrown for 279 yards a game. And Dave, you mentioned at the top, this Florida State pass defense is the worst ever under Bobby Bowden. And what the combination of Florida State doing a good job is Georgia Tech really not taking it downfield. Here's what you have.
It's the worst pre or post.
Oh, ever, okay.
226 passing yards per game. No Florida State defense has given up more over the course of the year.
Boy, oh boy.
You wouldn't know. Look up at that board. They got 237 yards, which is more than Florida State's been giving up. So I think our point is they could be doing better had they gone down the field more early.
Exactly right. Oh, man.
But that was a good drive now. That validated the punt. Lord have mercy. Whoa.
Someone got a hold of that man's bald head there.
So he drew an ugly Seminole on an ugly play. I've seen better Seminoles than that. In the end zone.
From the 2, Stefanzo Thorpe. Out at the 20 tomorrow night here on ESPN. Two of the league's premier whiteouts will meet up in San Francisco. Eric Moles with the combination of size and speed that leaves opposing defense grasping at air. And Terrell Owens, brash, bold, one of the most dynamic players in the game. The Bills and the 49ers only on Sunday Night Football. Would you like Terrell Owens as a teammate?
Boy, I tell you what, Dave, that's a great question. I mean, the bottom line is he's getting in the end zone, scoring touchdowns, so you obviously put up with a little more, but at some point you'd like some of the other leaders of that team to maybe get a hold of him and tell him to just tone it down a bit with his mouth and just keep doing what he's doing on the field.
From the 20, Rick Scramble, and for the first time had nowhere out. Nick Rogers.
Had a good meeting with Ted Roof last night about his defense, and he said, we're not going to be able to blitz these guys very often. We're going to have to choose our spots. Well, he chose well here. Here comes Myers off the outside. He's picked up, but that frees up the inside guy, Kieran Fox. And Nick Rogers coming from the other direction, and they get a huge sack. Now let's see if they can exploit this field position. Last time they let him out, or time before last, I should say.
16-yard loss. Well, Jones going to get a lot of it back here, though. Back almost to the original line of scrimmage. 14 yards, undercut there by Corey Collins, the strong safety.
Yeah, that could turn out, if they get this first down, guys, to be a huge play in the game when they needed to stop and get that field position. This is a huge play now, but to let them out of the hole that they just put them in.
Alman Gardner going wide left. Walker right. On 3rd and 11. It's with time this time.
No.
And intended for Walker and almost intercepted. They're going to say out of bounds. Chris Young had it in his hands.
Did he actually come down with it?
I think he did, but out of bounds. Let's see on Duke Clemson what's happening. Brian Kenny.
Just wanted to point out here, Dave, Clemson is now bowl eligible coming out of the ACC, taking on Duke as Duke, this is its 23rd straight game. Woody Dantzler here, big day. J.J. McElvey, 59-31 the final.
Kick by Gwaltney, backing Kelly Rhino inside his 30. Florida State has done a terrific job negating the return factor of Rhino. 5, all he gets on this 51-yard punt. Chased down by Jared Hetzel, 28-17.
It's different down here. NFL 2002. EA Sports. It's in the game. Rated E for everyone.
I couldn't wait to show off my new wheels at the reunion until I told my State Farm agent I really needed it fixed fast and he mentioned Service First.
When you choose State Farm Service First Claims Program, you don't have to get estimates. You go straight to a participating repair center where they guarantee their work. It's as simple as that.
I was looking good again in no time.
Ron?
Service First, just one more way. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
College football Saturday at 7:45. It's the SEC West Championship game. The Auburn D travels to Death Valley to try to stop Rohan Davey and LSU. At 8, Brandon Doman and number 7 BYU aim to keep their undefeated season and BCS hopes alive against a much-improved Mississippi State team.
Doman keeps it himself and scores a touchdown.
Auburn, LSU at 7:45 on ESPN. BYU, Mississippi State at 8 on ESPN2 tonight.
In the Florida State locker room, there are really shrines to those who were good enough to have their numbers retired. Of course, that number including their 2 Heisman winners, Chris Weinke from last year, and the 93 winner, Charlie Ward. Godsey with his work cut out now. Under 6 minutes to go. There's a good start. Watkins across midfield. 19 yards. Bruce Ricks has thrown for 219 and 2 touchdowns and run for 61 and another touchdown. All that after having his helmet spun completely backwards on his head. And getting no flag. That's incomplete. Intended on the sideline for Campbell. So 2 scores down. They'll need a field goal somewhere, a touchdown and 2-point conversion, but they have time and they have 2 timeouts.
Yeah, rare mistake by Godsey. This is not a throw he needs to be making. The safeties have depth behind the corners. That means that corner's going to sit on the out route. He's got a safety behind him. Godsey knew that. He shouldn't have made that throw. Rufus Bound broke up, and had it been in bounds, he would have picked it.
Only a 3-man rush with 4 wides. Godsey short over the middle, maybe 3 yards.
That's your favorite route, Dave.
Bill Burns.
You know, and Florida State is playing it 2 deep now. They're playing back a little bit. Not as aggressive as they've been in the past all year, but now they're even hanging back more. They're going to say, go ahead, complete those all day, and we'll just knock you down after you catch them.
The linebackers are sitting in zone. Kendall Pope there, sitting in zone, breaking up on the ball carriers and hitting them for 3-yard gains.
They need 7. And this time they've got it with plenty for the first down to Kelly Campbell.
If you throw the ball downfield, if you do what Dave Barnett is suggesting, and he's right, and you start throwing the hooks and curls and outs, those backers have to start getting out of there to help the DBs, whether it's 2 deep or 3 deep, especially in zone.
Good job.
Going around the right side again for Campbell, down inside the 30. Have they thrown deep for him at any point?
I don't think they've thrown a single time, and that's another thing that Florida State does. They loosen people up by throwing those jump balls. Whatever happens on them, they're willing to take those risks.
Under 4.5 minutes, 2nd and 4, promising Georgia Tech drive. Pump fake now going deep to the end zone and overthrown and intercepted by Chris Hope.
Just 3 plays earlier, we talked about a corner having a safety behind him. Help deep. And if he has help deep, you know he is going to squat on the short route, and you don't throw the deep ball because he has help deep. You never throw a ball late into deep coverage in the middle, and Chris Hope, who's a very bright player in addition to being a National Football Foundation scholar, comes up with a very big turnover for his team.
Bad decision by Mr. Godsey there. Got to see it. Safety sitting right there.
First turnover of the game by either team. Third interception of the year for Hope. And Florida State has got to eat as much time as they can. Pretty good way to do that. Give it to Greg Jones. George Godsey has had a good ratio in their 7 victories of touchdowns to interceptions, 3-1. In their losses, break even. If this turns into a loss, 6 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Just shaking his head over that one. Nick Maddox in a tailback. Studying by the Jackets.
Now, there's a risk when you tell your center to do that, because if the defense gets back, then the ball just sits down right there, and you end up taking third down, and that's exactly what happened. There is no flag.
No, they got back.
And Mirambo is told when they step across that neutral zone, you pop it up. The quarterback has to get the exchange, but there is that risk. Rich checking for perhaps the 20th time today. That's just a wild guess.
At least that many times. He barely beats the play clock. Going deep for Walker. Well covered, and here comes a flag on Chris Young.
Oh, boy. We obviously are going to get a good look at this one, but certainly didn't seem like a whole lot of interference going down the field. We'll get a look, though. Everybody's looking up at the big board.
On the defense, 15 yards, previous spot, first down.
Well, you be the judge at home. You know, they're going to call him for having his right arm. I don't know if they're going to call. He had his right arm out, and they're going to say he impeded, and watch his right arm stick in front of his body. That's what they're going to call, but I'll tell you what, I don't buy it.
Is that golf ball going to be caught, even if he doesn't?
It doesn't look like catchable. Yeah, I think you could argue that arm went out there a little firmly.
So Florida State gets that gift. First down at the 40. Jones back in. Needs to stay in bounds, and does at the 48.
You really got to take your hat off to Darrell Dickey, who came in here and replaced Mark Richt, not as the coordinator, because Jeff Bowden does that, and he coaches wide receivers, but Darrell came in to coach a brand new quarterback playing at the youngest age of any quarterback. Now, there's Jeff. Darrell Dickey sitting upstairs, but Darrell's worked with these quarterbacks, and he's the guy that's gotten Rich ready, and he's done a marvelous job, obviously.
Jeff yesterday saying biggest difference this year, lack of big plays. Not had enough short routes to go the distance. Again, you have to go back to before the season when they lost their starting wide receivers, Golden and Morgan, for the year with knee injuries. Let's send it down to Michelle.
Dave, this is Bobby Bowden's most recent publication. It's called The Bowden Way, 50 Years of Leadership and Wisdom. And he closes it with a list of his 35 rules, which, by the way, he sent to both of his sons when they became head coaches. The first rule, get mentally tough or get out of coaching. Midway through the list, team rights supersede individual rights. And the final rule, I don't believe in playing without a scoreboard.
He likes what this scoreboard's showing right now.
But this kid, this redshirt freshman, is calling virtually every play at the line of scrimmage.
Jones? Sometimes we've seen that contact, and then he finally comes down 3, 4, 10, 15 yards later.
Ted Roos said last night, yards after contact will be the key to this game. George O'Leary said the same thing. And in the early going, they were really drilling the backs for Florida State. But in the second half, Greg Jones has been able to bounce off some people, run over some people, and gain extra yards.
Bexhill with 2 timeouts. Down under 90 seconds. Rich again bleeding every second off the play clock. toss the other way to Jones. It'll be 3rd and 2, and we'll see if they call their second timeout here with 1:15. They will. This team has been a mystery to George O'Leary. He says, all year I've waited for our fire to get lit, and it just never has.
The 260 horsepower Acura CL Type S.
George O'Leary has said all year, I've looked for my seniors to step up and take charge. It's just not their personality. They're great kids. He loves every one of them, but none are the type that get in anybody's face. Now, we said, what about your next year's senior class? Do you see that in your juniors? He said emphatically, yes, that personality will be corrected next year.
And he needs those guys to step up. Not in this game. They really have it in the bowl game. You're going to need to see that from the guys that are going to come back the next year. Who's going to rattle a face mask or two out there?
Both these coaches were looking for serious intensity from their squads, and it would appear that Florida State found just a little more tonight.
Again, Ricks with the call. On 3rd and 2, Jones getting the first down.
Wow.
And reaches the 35.
People just getting knocked off the ball over there.
Well, we get to see this Georgia Tech team again, fellas.
It will be December 27th from Safeco Field in Seattle. And their only previous meeting with Stanford in the 91 Aloha, Georgia Tech won a 1-point decision. That game moving from Honolulu, the former Aloha, now Seattle Bowl.
The year we're going to do it, huh?
Perfect timing on our part.
Way to go, Michael.
As usual. McCrae on this carry. Jones now over 100 yards, by the way. 101 for Jones on 23 carries. Florida State will take on Virginia Tech in the Gator Bowl, rematch of the national championship game from 2 years ago, and that's the Virginia Tech that scared the bejeebers out of Miami. Came within a drop 2-point conversion of tying it this afternoon.
Well, what's a bejeeber? It's the heck.
That's one of your better ones, David.
Michelle, hopefully we'll find Bobby Bowden at the game. Get that book signed for me, Michelle. Time they're going to find him. Pay for it.
Dead ball. Delay. On the offense. 5 yards. Second down.
Hey, Mike, I'd get this book signed for you, but I scribbled a bunch of notes all over it.
Oh, okay.
So I think I've devalued it.
That's okay. I just have to get someone to read it for me anyway.
Let me just say that.
Would you read all 35 of his rules? That's what I want to know.
I think so. Isn't that one of the rules? Read all these rules?
It should be.
These guys have given Bobby Bowden something else to write about tonight. This may be the turnaround he's looked for from this squad.
They were down 10-7, ran off 21 answered points, and they get their 7th in against 4 losses. 6-2, they finish in the ACC with the Gator Bowl still to come. 28-17, they knock off Georgia Tech for the 10th straight time. College Game Day scoreboard coming up next. For Bill Curry, Mike Golick, and Michelle Tafoya, Dave Barnett, so long from Tallahassee, and we send you to Brian Kenny.